Are there any public comments for closed session items only?
Nothing on email.
And nothing in the room. May we please have a roll call?
Trustee Dickinson.
Here.
Trustee Donnelly.
Present.
Trustee Gray. Here. Trustee Edmondson.
Present.
And we heard from trustee Jackson Miller that she would not this evening.
Great. Sorry, I'm choking. The board will convene to close session.
It should be working tonight if you need it.
Oh, awesome. Sorry.
Thanks, Jen. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call open session to order. May we please start with the Pledge of Allegiance? Oh, I think
Yeah, I'll just
Ms.
introduce-
Hadrius will
Yeah,
introduce you.
thank you so much for having us tonight. I am honored to introduce Liv Rinaldi, our student council president, to lead us in the pledge.
Right.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Staff, students, parents, and communities help ensure that each child develops the skills and character necessary for lifelong achievement and responsible citizenship in a diverse world.
Yay, thank you.
And then we have a lovely certificate of recognition about you, Liv, that I'll read. Liv Rinaldi is an 8th grade honor roll student and a friendly, caring leader who brings a positive attitude to our school every day. As student council president, she shows responsibility, kindness, and a genuine commitment to our school community. Liv stays active with roller derby, volleyball, and basketball, and she enjoys reading and writing when she has time. She also loves spending time with her cat, Bobby. Next year, Liv will attend SoCal High School, where she plans to continue playing sports and being involved in leadership. She is a great example of good character and school pride, and we are very proud of her. So maybe you can come up, we can ask you a few questions.
I want to hear about roller derby.
Yeah.
I've played roller derby for 6 years,
Okay,
and I play with the Santa Cruz Derby Girls. And yeah, that's pretty much
so you
it.
play at the Civic with the other derby girls
Yeah.
then? Okay,
In Scotts Valley.
okay.
Are there teams? Do you play against other teams?
Yeah, we play against teams like all across the US. We're playing against Texas.
Wow.
We're playing a team in Chicago, I think, and Oregon. So we
You're
play.
going to Chicago?
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Wow.
Are you the
So-
speed one where they grab you around and shoot you like,
Yeah.
yeah?
I'm a
Watch the roller derby.
Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
And derby players always have very interesting names.
Yeah.
Would you share your derby name with us?
Lightning Livia.
Cool. Love it.
Yeah.
And you're the only one who could have that name, right?
Yeah.
See, yeah, that's great.
That's awesome. I think you're the first roller derby player. that we
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
I'm wondering about your presidency. What was that like? Did you just jump into like a big role like that, or did you kind of do leadership and have different roles leading up to that?
In 7th grade, I was 7th grade representative, and then in 8th grade, I wanted to run for president. And
Wow, what was that like running for president?
it was good. I was the only one running, so
Yeah.
it wasn't that hard.
Yeah,
But I still made posters and
nice.
Good.
did stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
What's your biggest challenge been as the president?
Probably trying to get the cheerleaders to cheer at girls' sports games because they only
Nice.
cheer at boys right now.
Oh, for you.
And we've got them to cheer at girls' flag football games, but we're trying to get further than that.
That's great.
Nice, that's awesome.
Mhm.
Cool.
Well, we have a,
But I want to hear about
Oh,
reading. What do you
oh,
like to
okay.
read? Yeah. What books do you like, are you reading?
I just finished the Hunger Games series.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's my favorite book.
Oh.
Right now I'm reading Maze Runner, like the Maze Runner series. And yeah.
Well, that's great.
Nice.
Okay, then
well, perfect timing because you have a gift certificate to Two Birds Books, which is on 41st,
Thank
so you can
you.
get yourself more books. And then this is for you to keep, and then maybe we do a quick picture and then
Yeah,
we'll
can we
do
get a
the.
picture with these? I think I see your family. Yeah. Want to join us? Would you join us for the photo?
What kind of cat do you have? What kind of cat's Bobby?
She's part meat, so she doesn't have a tail.
Oh, really?
She's part love.
Yeah.
You want us to go?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, on me. Have to flip it.
Thank you so much. For that. Thank you. Yeah, really
Oh, yeah, do we? I don't know. Oh, Jen, we don't do that for the representatives, do we?
Oh, well, she was the.
No, just the,
I mean, it's up to you.
Oh.
If you would like to.
oh. Oh.
Good answer. You're the president.
Okay, okay. I'll leave it up to you. guys. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for starting us off.
Yeah.
Moving on to 3B, an adoption of the agenda. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda.
A second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, report out of closed session is there's nothing to report. The consent agenda, may I have a motion?
Make a motion to move on with the consent agenda.
All right, a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, now what you've all been waiting for, moving on to recognition. We are going to recognize the 25-26 New Brighton Middle School student government officers.
Hi again, everyone. Miss Laurie could not be here tonight, and she's our fabulous student council advisor, but she did write something for me to read for her on her behalf because she just loves what she does and she loves working with all of these students so much. So, good evening, members of the board, staff, families, and students. Tonight, I'm honored to recognize a group of young leaders whose energy, creativity, and commitment are already making a remarkable difference in our school community, our student council. Even at this early point in the year, our student council is showing what leadership truly looks like. They listen to their peers, identify needs, and turn ideas into action. Whether planning school-wide events that bring students together, like our dances, Spirit Week, and the Halloween costume contest, launching service projects that support our community, such as the Second Harvest Food Drive that's now underway, or advocating for a more positive and inclusive campus culture by bringing their concerns to Mr. Turnbull or Miss Hadrius, they are already demonstrating maturity beyond their years. What makes their work so inspiring is not just what they are doing, but how they are doing it with collaboration, empathy, and a genuine desire to make our school better for everyone. On behalf of the school community, I want to thank each student council member, Liv, Davis, Lucy, Jackson, Will, Julia, and Jaren. Your efforts matter, your voices matter, and you are setting an incredible example for future student leaders. We look forward to the outstanding year ahead, and we thank you for your dedication and leadership. From Miss Laurie.
Then we have certificates of acknowledgement for all of you. So we'll read them and you can come up and get them. And then you can also each pick a little fun thing from our gift bag. So this is for Liv Rinaldi, student body president. Davis Schwerk, our 8th grade representative.
Sister.
Julia Mangold, our 7th grade representative.
We have William Jackson. There you go. Congratulations. Lucy Rodin, did I pronounce that right? Yeah. And she's vice president, embodied vice president. Congratulations. All right.
And Jaren Correa. Great job. And Jackson Herford.
Right.
If I can just add, I had a chance to meet with the group. Not everybody was there because, you know, it's students are busy with their schedules and everything, right? But the group I had a chance to meet with gave me so much great input. I just kind of generally asked, what's going well at the school and what are some things we could do better? And they gave so much positive, very mature input. I just have to share that some of the positives were teachers, which was a great foundation to start, and that the staff, like the administration, really cares about how they're doing. And I thought, man, that's a perfect place to start a school. And then they gave me some good ideas how to improve some things that, like bathrooms and other things that could be a little bit better at the school. So we're going to work together this year and see what we can do. So just wanted to say thank you for providing the student voice at New Brighton.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We'd love to get a picture with all of you if you want to come on up.
Yeah, I remember 747 from Thunderbirds.
Yeah. Just warming this seat for you guys. Oh, lots of chaos.
Probably does want one.
Yeah, any siblings, help yourself. Let me ask him like,
Oh, yeah, you want to open
Question.
some questions?
I really quickly, maybe in a sentence, tell me what your job is or what you do on the council. So you're starting with the president. Kind of know what you do, got to keep everybody together. And what else do you do?
I help plan most of the events and I kind of keep like everything together. I'm on the dance committee, so I help set up all the dances and plan them and stuff. And I kind of just help out with everything.
Perfect. And what about our vice president?
Yeah, so I obviously fill in for Liv when she's not there. But yeah, I'm also on the what's it called? Why am I forgetting funding? What is the charity? Yeah. Sorry. Charity committee. I also just like try to listen to everyone's needs and bring it up, you know. I think kind of what the representatives do a little bit is just trying to listen around and make sure everyone on like the council gets heard, you know.
Perfect. And then our secretary, William. I mean, I don't want to put you on the spot, but just a little bit about what you
I
do.
take notes and inform people when they miss a meeting.
You let them
Nice.
know they missed the meeting, or you tell them, or you catch them. Yeah, okay, very good. Okay, and our treasurer.
I manage school funds and sign off on purchases and reimbursements.
Okay, and where does the funds come from?
Just from like snack sales, and so if we have a snack sale, I'll like sign off on what we get, and then I'll count the money of what we earned. And then that's the funds we'll use for like the next dance and the next snack sale.
So you pay the invoices that come in? Okay, and then where do you submit the invoices to our principal?
I give everything I sign off to Miss Laurie.
Okay,
And then I'm pretty sure she gives it to the principal, yes.
wow, that's great. Okay, great. And then we have our 8th grade representative.
Yeah, I try and hear what the 8th graders are thinking and what they think needs to be improved or what is going good. And just basically use my voice for the 8th grade.
7th grade representative same.
Spirit committee and the dance committee, and I also listen to what the 7th graders want to change about.
Great. And our 6th grade representative, do we have not here? Oh, okay.
6th grade representative.
There's none?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is it-
Well, great.
Historian? Is that the
Oh, yeah,
last?
we have it.
Oh, yeah, story,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, sorry.
I made sure that all of our events have been, like, all the events we're planning are gonna happen. And that we have everything for them, and I make sure everyone has pictures for the events we have. And then I'm also helping the dance committee.
So that you have items from past council members. How far back do you go? No.
I don't know.
Be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, thank you all
Yeah.
so much. We're so proud of your leadership and we can't wait to hear about what you do in high school. And thank you for starting off our meeting. If you want to stay, you're very welcome to see all the things that we do that are so interesting. And if you feel like you need to go home, now's a good time. All right, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Get a picture out there.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Great job.
All right. All right. I know, that's nice. I got the rest. All right, welcome everybody. Nice to see you all here.
Hey, you giving the hugs, I like your shirt. It's a really cool shirt.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, moving on to public communications. Is there anything in the room? Did we get any? No, okay. Anything on email?
No.
All right. So if there's nothing in the room, then I guess we'll move on. To
Reports, may I request to go last tonight?
yes, you may, standing report. So who would like to start? Okay.
I'll be brief. I know we have a long docket tonight, but there's a few things that I thought would be important to bring up. Scott and I do our school visits with a math focus, and we've had some amazing visits since the last time we met as a board. And I really want to highlight a couple of things. One is there was some really great talk and accountability structures that were built in to the lessons. And in 2 of the classes, the accountable talk was in 2 languages, which was also really fantastic to see. And then we also saw some really strong engagement routines for students with specificity in math. And then a real strong clarity of goals and objectives. And so I think those are the things that really kind of nail it for our students, and we just saw some really great representation of great math instruction. So always the highlight of my week to be able to go and do those. Yesterday we had our principals, leaders in learning meeting, and we're focusing this year on strong instructional leadership and coaching. And we drilled down into their school plans and their goals, their strategies and activities, and then how they were going to be accountable and make commitments for that work to be done. And so that was a really big highlight. I was really proud of our the collaboration of that team. And then just lastly, I want to give a shout out to a lot of the partners that work for us and with us for free. And that we do a lot of planning with. So our math PEBC coach, I met with this past week, continuing our work together. We talked to our SIP partners, which are school inclusion or supporting inclusive practices partners with Carissa this week and Scott. And then we also met with our COE partners who are doing individual coaching for our principals. So it's really nice to give them a little shout out because they do so much for us. And in return, we give them our hopefully new knowledge and grace. So thank you.
Great, thank you.
And I'll be quick because I know we have a lot going on tonight. It was really nice to see everyone come out to the ribbon cutting. It was so nice to hear the kids playing out, seeing the soccer games going on, and
how the field's been used, like during recess and lunchtime. There's kids like on the track, there's kids playing games on the soccer side, they're on the volleyball side. So it's just amazing to see how everything came together. And it was really nice to see that we had the big downpour and the field did great. So that was a great test. So that was amazing how everything is worked out so well. We have done our interviews for the leaseback for the first phase of the projects for the elementaries, which would be the amphitheaters and the fields there. We will be bringing that decision to our December 17th board meeting. And I won't say who it is right now, but at that time is when we'll bring all the paperwork, and we're really excited to partner with that construction team. We were also able to go to one workplace to look at library furniture. So the librarians, we went last week, and Stacked also went with us, Steve, and we were able to tour an elementary school and a middle school in Santa Clara. It was really cool because this school was built from the ground up in 2020. It was actually all three schools, so elementary, middle school, and high school. And it was really neat to see all the designs they had in their libraries and all the ideas and so forth. So it's a great start for us to kind of get some ideas and so forth to start that planning process and see what things looks like and how they would fit in spaces and so forth.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
All right, I just want to double down on a couple of the items. The ribbon cutting was great, such a great community feel, so many good partners, having the cheerleaders out there, having the soccer team run through the banner, and having the game was just, it just felt so good. And I just want to thank everybody at New Bright for their patience while that project was getting done. Just really glad to see it and looking forward to having them at the elementary schools. Math visits have been great, seeing students engaged, seeing clear objectives, and lots of good academic conversations between students. So just appreciate all the work on that. The dashboard came out since our last board meeting, and there's some great highlights. New Brighton science scores were in the blue. Yeah. Blue is the highest they can have on the dashboard. District-wide science scores are in the green, which is the next best. So science is rocking. So Kell and Main Street both got in the green on chronic absenteeism, which if you think a couple of years ago, we were over 30% chronic absent, and now those schools are under 10%, and the other schools are very close. So just amazing family support that's made all that happen. Santa Cruz Gardens, if I remember, grew 2 levels on language arts from orange to green, which is amazing. And yeah, so it's just so much good to celebrate in that dashboard. And then we'll look at the areas that weren't as strong, and we'll keep working, chipping away with those. So nice validation of what all the good things we already know are happening in our schools. I really enjoyed student leadership visits. One was at New Brighton, been doing that at the elementaries too. So it's great to hear the student voice. I appreciate them always being willing to share their honest opinions. The Ruby Bridges walk at Main Street on Friday was amazing. Second year they've done that. Coach Janelle over there coordinates all the hard work on that, and community just comes together in honor of Ruby Bridges, who was the first African-American student in Louisiana to break the color barrier in schools. And it's great that we still remember that important achievement. And then just a reminder that we won't have a board meeting at the beginning of December because several of us will be at the CSBA conference, the California School Boards Association conference, and we'll also be honored to receive our Golden Bell Award for our Equity Swim program. And last but not least, we know everything that's been going on with the government and how SNAP and CalFresh and everything was impacted. And I hope I don't embarrass her, but I just want to give a big shout out to our executive assistant, Jen, who worked with Second Harvest to bring a food distribution event to New Brighton Middle School last week that served 141 families, which means 554 people. So we did our little part. And that's all for me.
Right. Exciting. The door, are we cold in here? Is it cold?
No.
No, we're good? Okay.
Oh.
I can handle it if you can. Okay, just check it. We would love to hear from you, SEA.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Couple of different things. At the last board meeting, a letter was referenced regarding a request that the board enlist the County Office of Education to conduct a formal study evaluating the cost and benefits of consolidating with another district. At the time, it was described as coming from 5 or 6 SUESD teachers. We would just like to clarify that in actuality, the signature line indicated that those teachers represented the SEA Executive Board, which represents all SEA members. We felt it was important to make that clear since it was not specified when it was shared at the last board meeting. SEA recently conducted a survey that asked members to select which of the potential cost-saving members that had been discussed at previous board meetings they would prefer. We had 81% of our members respond. Of the cost-saving possibilities that were presented by the district, our members were most supportive of consolidation with other districts at 76.3%. The next most popular option was leasing district property at fair market value at 73.7% and passing a parcel tax at 55.3%. We also asked our members about financial strains. 68.4% of our members responded that they cannot currently afford healthcare for their family. 40% of respondents stated that paying rent or their mortgages were a financial strain. 45% of respondents stated that they are only able to pay their rent or mortgage with the support of a partner or housemates. Another 47.4% of respondents stated that they are actively looking for or plan to look for a job outside of SUESD next year. None of this information about the financial strain on our members should come as a surprise to the administration or the board. Educators in our district who have been here for more than a couple of years have been holding out hope that something will change and they will be able to continue to afford to work in this district, because we all love working with this community, with these families, and with these students. But it always seems to be one step forward and 2 steps back. Frequent staff turnover, low morale, and educators working second jobs is not the way to provide the best education for our students. This is the reason we joined with the mutually supportive statewide We Can't Wait campaign alongside other districts in California, because our members have been waiting and waiting and waiting. And many of them feel they can no longer wait for those changes necessary to keep them here. But we keep trying. We know the district says it values our professionalism and the academic and social emotional support we provide our students. We hope that the district can we hope that the district can prioritize finding a way to demonstrate that in real terms. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And thank you for polling your members. Those are some strong percentages that speak loudly. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks everybody. CSEA, anybody from CSEA? No? Anything on? All right. Update on the bond projects?
Is the actual item or?
It's,
Oh,
no,
in
it's not.
in lieu of that informal one, we'll do the actual.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, items from trustees.
Well, I was at the ribbon cutting, soccer field, like everybody said, it was great, and soccer game went on right afterwards, and it's been a long time, but the field ended up coming quick too, so it was great that it was installed as, well, to me, as quickly as it.
6 months.
6 months, yeah, without delays, so good job.
I'll echo that. And I really appreciate Scott putting out a video. We had some great aerial footage, and if y'all and whoever's on YouTube haven't seen it yet, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, what a jewel in Capitola to see the drone flying up above, and you see this gorgeous purple, just screams MS Vikings and the field, and it's just I don't know, I think it's something the whole community should be really, really proud of, and I hope our kids love it.
I echo that. I don't really have anything else to report. Yeah, I was at the field ribbon cutting, which was great to see. Also, I've been visiting some sites just regarding Measure P, just to kind of, we see these plans, but to see what does the actual space look like. And just to come back to what you guys were talking about, I hope that you'll share that with us, or probably you will, but some of those, just everything you read. I mean, I took notes, but
I believe it's normally shared with, was it Jen? Do we normally share it with you?
I just listen to it and type it out.
Oh, okay. If you want.
yeah, send that to the
Yeah.
board. Yeah, we would like to see that. And yeah, I hope that we just keep continuing to talk and see where we want to aim the boat. Okay. They're just, sorry, they're heavy. They're heavy numbers. They make me sad. Those some of those percentages really are hard to hear.
Yeah.
They're hard to hear. And you guys are great, and here you are. So it's just makes me a little, yeah, it hits heavy.
It's great to have that, because we hear sometimes from one person or another person, and we get a really narrow viewpoint sometimes, and having 73% or 80%, I mean, numbers like that, which is a great consensus, is really helpful for us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We really appreciate you listening and taking as much action as you can.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, we're looking at big things. So to hear your input on, what is appetizing and what's not it's important for us. Because like we've said before, I mean, we're really a big community. I mean, we do 5 of us sit here, but it's not just us making our own decisions. So your input is really the engine for us. Yeah. So, and thanks for being here. It's nice to, see you all. All right. So we are moving on with some other items. And I guess nobody, or your yeah, the open comment, you didn't feel like commenting, no? We had that.
I think that
You're showing your support.
we
That's
wanted to
what we're
work
seeing.
together,
Okay,
and
I love it.
We wanted to give you a chance to hear these numbers first.
Yeah,
And give you a chance to, because we do believe in this partnership.
yeah,
And we want to work with you.
right,
So it's not like we're coming in with pitchforks or anything.
right.
But we wanted to give you a chance to hear these numbers
Yeah.
and hear a little bit of how it's been going. And give you guys a chance to take action.
Yeah, yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I think we can get more done without the pitchforks.
Exactly, right? That's what I'm saying, like.
Because that's what we all want. Right, yeah, that's what we all want. All right, okay, good. Well, yeah, so thank you again for your candor and your heart and your honesty and for showing up. We really appreciate you guys so much. I mean, you're the heart of the district for our students. All right, so we are moving on. If you would like to stay, please stay. And if you feel like you have an evening to run, and then go for it. But thank you so much again for sharing.
Thank you.
All right, presentation, information, and discussion. Presentation regarding Measure P updates.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. All right, hello.
Hi, I'm Ralph LaRue with Stacked. Work hand in hand with VJ, who we did the presentation before. VJ kind of focused more on the master planning side. I will be more on the implementation side. Worked with the school district since 2016 on the previous bond, and was able to execute that well. So looking forward to making this one, as successful as that last one. And this can be a joint presentation with our program manager, Dag. it's long. I've given you a lot of slides here. I'm going to skip through some that are a little bit repetitive because they kind of show the progress. So you have that documentation. But I'm going to definitely make the scope clear and the sequence of the rollout of the projects. So we'll show the master planning and just kind of which projects are underway now and which we're going to anticipate. Then we'll look at the field projects, which are following fairly closely behind the one that we've just excitedly opened. And then we'll look at projects per school. And then Brett will finish with a Measure P update. So I've just highlighted in green, we've taken on a lot, all of those aspects, that's language from the master plan that's happening now. And the blue will be the second phase of the building modernization that we'll start scoping out next year. You can see at New Brighton, we took on a lot of the modernization, the first phase modernization, and the second phase we'll be correcting the covered walkways and some classroom updates, but we took on the heavy lifting right now. Similarly with Main Street, that field is going to be transformational, kind of similar to the one we have here. Let's see. And then Soquel is the trickiest site because it's the oldest and smallest. Very exciting to transform that site. And then also we'll speak a little bit more about the phasing of the actual field work. And then right after that, rolling into the modernization and phasing the modernization of that building. So site work, this is just verification of the layout of where we landed. We've got the full soccer field with the 2 diagonal practice fields and then the baseball. We have amphitheater shade structure and a lunch shade structure. Those will be fabric shade structures. This is the most recent kind of aerial view. And the reason I showed you this is you can see the extent of the shade that we provide in. As we develop these projects, we realized that there's particularly Santa Cruz Gardens and Main Street, there's high exposure, the sun. So we wanted to make sure that we shaded those spaces well. So 2 of the sites we've worked with a vendor to come up with a shade structure that shades. It's one contiguous structure that shades both the stage and the audience. We've used blue. They won't all be blue. We'll be working on colors, to match each site. So there'll be some embellishment of the design just to show you how that looks.
Ralph, could we actually go back to the Main Street one? Just the
Main Street.
Yeah, right here with the lunch with what you're talking. Just maybe you could explain it, but to me the picnic tables, it looks like half of them are out in the sun, and in a future slide that you have, it doesn't look like the shade structures are directly over the area where the kids eat.
Okay. Let me clarify because this green over here is incorrect. We will be flushing that out with flat work.
What's flat work?
Concrete, just concrete.
Concrete,
because right now it's
grass
in there. And the picnic benches, this is enveloped, from our draftsperson, but the intent is for everybody to sit under the shade.
So the intent is that the shade is over the table area.
Yes. It's a graphical.
It's okay.
Error.
Okay.
From the render, yeah.
And then drainage wise, we don't need that to be porous earth.
So yeah, some of it will be porous and our civil engineer is taking care of the drainage. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So be more usable, be more like a quad and sort of an informal amphitheater for, some presentations as well, outdoor teaching maybe. Yeah.
And I was wondering about that. Did we decide that an amphitheater in that location wouldn't be a sound bother to other classrooms?
So it's not, it'll be all one level. It's really a lunch area.
Okay.
But so the actual sloped seating will be in this kind of natural amphitheater here where we'll terrace the hill.
I guess I'm sorry, I was thinking that inner courtyard that we're talking about,
Yes.
is that also an amphitheater?
No.
Okay, that's a lunch area.
Yes.
Okay.
So be all flushed out, yes.
As long as we're on this, are you doing anything with the fencing around that southern border there where the houses are? Are we touching it? Are we
No, we have not provided fencing there.
Okay.
We provided some fencing under the solar panels to make sure that the poles, don't go down onto onto the blacktop.
Okay.
But we haven't done, extensive perimeter fencing. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, the timing of lunch, like that does move the lunch area. Because right now it's kind of off away from the classrooms. Does anybody in the room know, like the staggering of lunches? If a age group is eating lunch in the middle of the school, is that a bother to the classrooms that are still in session?
Are you talking about that lower area where there's currently the?
Yeah, because you're centralizing lunch.
There's not right there, I mean, just as, because I'm gonna share my opinion, but right there is the MU, and then you've got the office, and then you have the library, so most of that. The classrooms that would be most affected would be like, what's currently Lynn Macy's class and
Yeah.
not Jocelyn Huffaker's class, but,
The
Missy
SBC.
Elliott's.
Yeah.
Missy Elliott, I just named the rapper. Sorry, Missy's class. But those two would
And
be
Galvin.
impacted by an upper lunch perhaps. But probably not more than those classes.
Okay, yeah,
But
just sorry, I
the
wanted
other
to think
area
that
where they
through.
eat, right? The other area with the tables, which is south of that, I think, near the
The playground.
playground and everything,
Yeah,
there's a number of
there's-
tables there.
Yeah.
And we're building this shade structure over that, right?
Yeah, redoing that. shape
Yeah.
back.
Over the
Yeah.
we're trying to make
That
it.
southern blue thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
yeah, that's supplement.
I think slide 76 really
Yeah.
shows it. Slide 76.
Yeah.
It shows
Yeah.
how it's shaded over.
The big concern about noise that was expressed to us early on was when we were playing around with the idea of that area where there's just the eating section that Ralph
Right.
went over.
Right.
We were originally playing around with the idea of that being the amphitheater, and that
Oh.
was a concern, is like, no, that will be too noisy,
Yeah.
and that's when the new concept of putting it out towards the field.
Yeah.
came about.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That was input we got straight from the
Okay.
staff.
Yeah.
And to clarify, that area we're talking about, is the whole thing going to have a shade structure since it's all being paved over? Or is it?
Yes, it's all being paid over. So the one area there is what's shown in green here.
Yeah,
It'll be at the same level as the walkways.
I think she's.
there'll be a
asking-
shade structure over all of it or just a portion of it?
The shade will be on this horseshoe, and we'll show you an image of that. It's
Okay.
quite extensive, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a combination of faceted triangles, shade sails that we've done before.
Okay.
Yeah. But we didn't want to shade the whole area. So just switching gears a little bit, the other thing I didn't mention is, so all the campuses, you'll notice we're focusing on security fencing. So the red lines are related to fencing. So that's an image. We'll be, adjusting the height, the colors. This is a kind of a blow up of how the lunch area will look. The triangulation of the lunch area.
Could you explain the amphitheater a little bit back with the slides you just,
This
just
one?
could talk a little bit about it?
Oh, sure. So it consists of concrete benches with actually artificial turf behind the bench. That will be the walking surface. And then the platform will have some outlets there, power outlets and data. And And it's fairly simple. In fact, we were in our tour of Santa Clara, they had something very similar there as well. It worked pretty well. And you'd be able to, enter this particular one from both the top and the bottom areas because it bridges the two levels of the upper field and the campus.
Do you have any idea how you're going to keep it from a skate park?
Yes,
Okay.
we'll be cutting the skateboard prevention
Oh, okay.
gaps into the concrete.
Mm.
There's the other option is putting a metal pieces
Right,
of
yeah.
metal onto the concrete, but the easiest, and again, we saw that in Santa Clara, is you just create a triangular gap where it's creates a rigid surface so they can't grind.
And I think I see, it looks like kind of stairs in a few places if you just wanted to get to the top of the amphitheater.
So there'll be stairs in the middle and stairs on both sides.
Okay, and that's what the rails are to those
Yes,
stairs, yeah.
yes.
Nice.
So, those picnic benches aren't, they're not the right product, but, to give you an idea, this is the artist rendering. In terms of phasing, so as you know, Kent was picked through the lease-leaseback process, and that's going to come to you, a contractor is going to come to you, and we are working with that contractor to phase the work on an active campus that with the least disruption. So this is just an early idea that we will present to the contractor. They'll come back. And so we're thinking we will, during the construction, have to fence kind of along that fire road back there and have the contractor, have good access to the field to speed up the construction of that project. Santa Cruz Gardens, so this is, you realize the scope here. It has the fencing up in the front. It has new staff parking area. And then, fire road, fire access to your existing fire hydrant, and then similarly, same field as before, as the other schools. And so this one amphitheater replaces the existing wooden amphitheater with the concrete benches. Very similar design, but now that we have this design, we'll start to personalize it per the campus with colors and other things.
And sorry, the Santa Cruz Gardens, the site map. Could you go back to the site map of Santa Cruz Gardens?
Site map. Yes.
So we have the field, that's turf, but then between between A and E, that's gonna just be grass and earth, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. And then in some drawings, I feel like I've seen, it looks like a parking spaces beside the new field, and then in some I haven't.
Yes, so that was a comment we had at the last
Yeah.
meeting. We no longer have parking
Okay.
at the field.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
I'm really against that. Just as me.
We heard you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Remember, I was there.
Yeah.
So this is, and we'll keep, update these renderings now that we're actually, kind of moving strongly towards this direction. These site projects are in DSA right now, or they were submitted in September. We're expecting comments back and then approval early next year. So Kell Elementary, this has two shade structures as well, amphitheater in the bottom right there, and then at the kindergarten area. And then we have some fencing here to fill in the gaps as well. I think it's a huge win. We were able to, at item E there, improve the parking capacity of both the drop-off area and at back here, which was an old construction road that we built. But here we'll add some parking where you don't have parking now, the diagonal parking. So I can't remember the exact number, but it's significant. I think you get about roughly 20 more spaces. You can combine the two. Yeah.
And then with the new parking in E by our kindergarten, do you have to remove any trees for that?
No.
No.
No, so you'll see a little island there, and that's where the tree is.
Okay.
Right in the middle, so that
Yeah.
tree stays. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one's pretty neat. We'll also have just a short fence, not a security fence, but at around about B there, where to limit balls just rushing onto the playground. This one, because it's in a grove, we picked a slightly different style shade solution. Problem with shade is you can also get really cold. So this one does let some light through with the two shade concept. So we call the back area cantilevered. So it'll be on a post with just a cantilevered projection over the audience. That's a artist rendition. So again, it's going to be transformative. You can see the little low fence to the right. And then at the kinder area, we have a hexagonal shade structure. But big picture is we've submitted to DSA and we should get approval in the first quarter of next year. So right now we're looking at two modernization projects. Those are going in December into DSA. And that's for the architecture. For the special spaces like libraries, and we even have a makerspace at Socal, and the admin area. We'll be doing some more interior design while we're waiting for DSA to review the drawings. So just to remind you of the scope, we're going to demolish building J, which is listed as A there. We got some gym work. And then we updating the library, the science rooms, and providing security fencing. We're making really making a larger science room by moving some walls and creating a student service space. So there you can see the kids will be able to almost have a high school science experience. Lots of graphics. Sorry, it's long. Student services, there speaks for itself. Some speech counseling area, place to receive small groups of kids. So much needed, and so that's right adjacent to the larger science room. So what we took is two classroom sections and made one classroom bigger to make the bigger science rooms, and then the leftover space was the student services.
Can I just ask one thing? Allison, I know you mentioned earlier that you went and saw the school that was built in 2020, just a few years ago, and how modern it was and how incorporated the elementary and the middle and the high school and everything like that. I mean, I realize these are pretty much done, but I mean, was there anything there that jumped out at you that this was a great design, or this made a lot of sense, or
Well, yeah, and their advantage is they got to build from the ground up. So
Yeah.
they had all the specialty type of rooms for the libraries is what we really looked at. So they had the storage room for the librarians. That was a long storage room. So you walked into one and then you can walk into another storage room behind that, which they had all the textbooks on the automated bookshelves. I was talking to Kelly about that earlier, where you push a button and it would just move over.
Cool.
But yeah, so we're mainly focusing on furniture placement and stuff like that, getting ideas on what certain types of furniture would really look like in the rooms and so forth.
I mean, as long as we're doing it, I'm just curious if there's any sort of modernization that you saw that that because I don't have any experience. I haven't walked through a school that's been built within the last 5 years,
So,
Yeah.
the most exciting thing for me is that team that did that project was one workplace.
Yeah.
Who hosted us, and that same team is going to be working with us, well, drawings like DSA, to develop a similar furniture solution. So you're gonna, we're modernizing your spaces to look new.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and I think to your point too, or to your question, a biggest part to make it like give it an uplift and make it look more modern is the furniture, like the type we choose, and some with angles and stuff like that kind of really helps with the modernization and different types of seating arrangements versus just like regular chairs and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Neat. Thanks.
Can I ask, so we have the new science classroom in, it's in the map, it's A, but then there's a courtyard a bit away but it's called the science courtyard. Right here. So
yeah.
just what's the connection what's that space between A and D? If A is the science classrooms and D is the science courtyard, just what's?
So I'm going to show you in large courtyard. So because those are leftover spaces, we actually done a landscape project there to enhance those spaces and provide a connectivity straight from the library, from the science room. So.
But is there science connecting to it?
Yes.
There is.
Yes.
So in this white space, or we're just not?
So
between A and D.
Yeah, between A and D, there's building there. Yeah.
Science rooms. This area is the larger science rooms, and between item D will be a courtyard for the science teachers. And then where C will be a courtyard that's shared by
The
the library and the student services.
So those are existing science rooms. Are
Yes.
they getting in, do they need any modernization?
They are
Oh,
part of the plans. They're being modernized. Yes.
okay, okay.
So the smaller rooms are being modernized with some upgrades to match the larger
The new
modernization.
building,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
But before we move off of this list, one of the things we were talking about earlier was Scott met with some of the student council from New Brighton, and bathrooms were a thing that came up. I don't see modernized bathrooms on here. Has that been considered? Are those being addressed in any way?
Yes, in that particular wing, we're doing a gender neutral restroom on that at the end of that wing. Yes. So we address, whatever we touch, we modernize to the latest standard. So as we look at the other wings, since phase 2, we'll consider those too.
Okay.
And then the gym restrooms are getting modernized as well. So item H.
Okay, so how many restrooms are not getting modernized in this round?
Well, and I think just some of the items that the students brought to my attention won't necessarily be like big bond projects. They can be small
Correct.
items that we may be able to lean into bond funds for. But like we have learned that some of the locks on the stalls,
Yes.
And that
Right.
makes it so students don't feel comfortable, knowing that somebody can just bump their way into that.
Right,
So
right.
those might not show up on these plans, but they can still be addressed.
Okay. Can we get that considered, not necessarily, grand remodernizing, like adding gender neutral stalls, but just making sure that all of the stalls close and lock?
Right.
Can we look at if that is feasible with this round of modernization?
Yes, we kind of keep a track of all small projects with Steve and address all we can.
Okay.
I know we're changing to hand dryers right now instead of towels.
Okay.
That's one little thing. Yeah. So, but good point, and we'll follow up with Steve. I'm assuming that list. Yeah.
And just real quick, the science rooms, no Bunsen burners? They don't do those?
No.
I'm old.
No, it's
Yeah. I noticed that. I was like, ah.
no hazardous material. We don't have a
Copy that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna skate through here. I love taking time, but So that's a blow up of the courtyards, which has been revised a little. I think we're doing 2 trees instead of 3. And so just to show you, there'll be some thought into that. We have SSA landscape architects so working on that project. It's in our plans.
Okay.
And then this kind of looks like more scope than it is really, but the whole concept here is to have a fence in a student side and a visitor side where a visitor can't just walk onto campus, has to go through. And so what that resulted in is we'll provide a new transaction desk.
So I got a question about this. Is that actually going to be the color of the flooring and the desks? I mean, and then if so, why was those colors chosen?
Colors are not completely flushed out yet. We'll have
Okay,
time for
okay.
colors, but we did integrate as conceptually in our design meeting some of the colors of the school. So you'll see a little purple and yellow, a little, it will be a little bolder, kind of similar to Santa Clara. Yeah.
I love this, by the way. They have a great flow
Yeah.
idea.
Yes.
Making people go through the office to get
Oh,
into the school.
definitely, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Similarly with the gym, you know, these are some art ideas that we'll bring back to you. Definitely trying to refresh it. There's a storage room off to the left, but also has an opportunity to sell tickets and provide some concessions. Library. So these are early concepts. And again, when we go into the division of state architect, we don't show any of that. We'll just really show what's built in, which is the control desk. And working with the librarian, we figured this was the best location for it. And we'll have time to bring back that interior to you. So it's a little bigger than what you see today because we took space from the book room. So this bottom area here. What was cool about our library visit is most of those, even those curved bookshelves and seats are all on casters wheels. So we can, the conundrum is how do we store the most books, but also have adaptability to have some groups come in there. And so that's going to be our main interior design challenge as we flush out the interiors. But the kind of left control areas where we've landed in terms of our application to DSA.
And what's the A and the B?
Those were early options that, you know, we met with staff, we met with the school staff and discussed in our meetings in terms of conceptual layouts. So B, we were looking at providing a control desk more centrally located in the blue. And what this did was help us define where we wanted the librarian to be.
So it's more A then.
Yes, more A. Yeah.
So this was just the drawings for me didn't meld with my memory of the library. So I visited the library today. Thank you, Allison. But so could you explain a little bit, like for one, the lighting doesn't make sense to me. Where's the door? Are we adding any windows?
Okay.
And you talked about the storage room. So like, would you take up all of that or part of the storage room to get that extra space?
So we're taking up all the storage room except for the tech area.
Yeah.
There's a little tech area. And so you'll have the current access to the library as well as another access off the hallway. And then we're reinforcing the access to the courtyard, which is those doors there that you see that are bright, that they'll be openable to get to the courtyard.
And no windows? We're not adding any windows to that room?
We are not adding windows. There are some high windows up in the series, not showing that here, but there's some high windows there. We're, in fact, one thing at Santa Clara, they were talking about too much light with their windows.
Oh,
So,
that's surprising.
yeah,
Distraction too,
we
maybe.
feel like we can control the environment to make it pleasant without adding a lot of windows.
Yeah.
And typically in the library,
And those boxes are really
Yeah.
where the kids are gonna sit.
Yeah, it doesn't seem so silly to me.
We-
That seems incredibly uncomfortable and like you're putting a kid in a box.
those have become quite popular little nooks actually. You'll see them in city libraries. It's kind of fun little hidey holes here and there. Um,
We don't need that to put bookshelves or tables where, I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. So again, this is actually if you're to look at a plan today, all you're seeing is that desk on the right. All of this will come back to you probably. I would say, Scott, maybe in 3 months, and like April, come back with the full interior design to show you guys. So it's not, you'll have another chance with this one. Yeah.
Okay, so so then we're really talking about the more kind of permanent structural features at
Yes.
this time.
Yes.
So for example, where's the door in the drawing?
Well, to the right of the librarian, just around the corner there, is the
That's the
existing.
existing
The
door.
existing door is right here, just around the corner. And there's one here, and then this goes to the courtyard.
Okay, and then isn't there a maybe where this person is blocking, there's another door, or are we sealing that off or leaving that door?
Oh, you're right. There's one here.
Yeah.
But there's too many access points.
Oh, okay. So
Because
just the
not
two.
only you'd need two, but now you're going to have you're gonna have two because you have one kind of
With the big
from.
windows.
Yes.
And then in this side where the storage is there another exit or?
There is, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be really your second
third.
door to the campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is not, is this the natural light? Are these lights or are these, the holes in the roof?
They're
With
lights.
the
They're lights.
lights?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're still looking at ceilings. This is embellished a little bit. Actually, Santa Clara kept it fairly simple. And there's also a cost impact that we'll be chatting about. Yeah.
I'm just shocked about the natural lighting that apparently that's a bad thing. I don't know, in a library.
No, it's not a bad thing, but we have good
You feel
height
like-
there. It's not, it's not a space where you feel depressed, I don't feel. And then
Okay.
also
It's a dark space. It is, to me, it feels like a
we're
dull.
going to brighten it up. We're going to brighten it big.
Okay. I'm excited. Okay. All right.
I also am a fan of natural light, so I hear you.
Yeah.
It's a library. I
Yes.
mean.
Okay, we could consider with the district we could add solar tubes up in the roof.
Yeah, that's
bring
what I thought that might be.
natural roof, yeah,
Yeah.
and dimmable. What we want to avoid is big gymnastics with the structure because
Right.
it becomes really expensive.
Yeah.
But
Right.
solar tubes are probably the most efficient way to get artificial light. So
Yeah.
Could I have one thing?
Yeah.
So when we were talking about the natural lighting, I remember them, the comments were made that a lot of their books were being degrading and fading because of the UV. So they regretted having all the windows on that big wall. It was a south facing wall. And so they were like, that's one thing we learned after is too much light ends up degrading the books.
yeah,
It's kind of good sticking to the plan. that
so
we
it's a
have.
balance. I like natural light too.
And not all the walls are south facing.
Yes,
And the walkway
yes.
adds additional shade. Even if
Yeah.
you put a window in there, it would be a window into the walkway, which is shaded light. So I mean,
Okay.
you know what I mean? It's
So we'll
You're-
bring it
we're
back
not-
some common
not
sense.
dangerous.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you. I won't forget.
What's happened to the library?
It's gorgeous.
Window.
Yes.
And I
The whole
had,
thing's a window.
I
Yes.
have no idea what extent they've experienced,
Yeah.
variation in their materials, but it's gorgeous. And
Yes,
that,
For sure.
that is a lot of where the seating is. You see kids, sitting
Yeah.
in chairs with books in the light. It's.
So we took the
Turn
opportunity.
in industrial
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it was like, it looks great, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we took a little bit of that opportunity where there's a bank of windows right now, so we're cutting those down and
Yeah.
those will be full light, yeah.
And I'm not sure if this is a structural point, but plugs are an important thing. in
Yes.
Library, so
Yes,
we're keeping that in mind.
We're want to coordinate that even with
Plugging in.
outlets, yeah.
For sure.
Super important.
Yeah,
I think that's where the testing is.
yeah.
So I'm going to move on just to fencing of this area. I mean, you want to protect your investment to the field. So we've been, trying to scurry, which actually became a bit of a big project, but we definitely have in our modernization to replace fencing, which is a combination of fencing in the buildings to create secure areas. And so that includes the long run here at the back of the parking lot with a rolling gate. So it's going to look amazing. Go to schedule. So when we got phase 1 into DSA, we'll start looking at phase 2, which is a little less robust, but definitely very important in terms of looking at your some of your walkways that are showing signs of failing. So we'll look at that.
Ralph, I hadn't seen it, but the bike area where the kids put their bikes and
Yes.
their electric bikes.
Yes.
Was that covered?
Yes.
Did I not?
Yeah, so this area back here, spoke with principal in terms of changing access to that, like taking away some of that fencing so they could more easily get
100%, because they're all driving the bikes to
Yeah.
school now.
Yes.
So they'd have to be able to get in and be able to park their bikes in a secured area where they can lock it.
Yes.
So they have an entranceway and,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, the area is gonna be secured, right, still with fencing? You're gonna lock.
Yeah,
the
this campus in itself, and
Yeah.
we're making the access to the bike area easier to get to, because right now you can't.
For students.
Yes, for students.
Okay.
Are we enlarging that area? Because every time I go in there, it's, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, but is it still packed full of bikes, like wall to wall?
I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's two right across from each other, and yeah, it gets pretty full on most days. Yeah. But I think it has helped since you guys added the staff one, right?
Yeah, the staff one that has one bike in it.
Just one bike now. I forgot that one. That was a big request.
I've never seen your staff one, so.
What's the one with the one bike?
Yeah, that's why, but I know the one with the kids.
Oh, yeah, that's packed, yeah.
Yeah, is there any way we could enlarge that or
That's
do?
a good idea.
So that's a good idea. I would say we're gonna do phase 2. Let me bring that up with the school and we can include it in phase 2. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Main Street modernization is just a reminder, but you know most of the stuff. Definitely there's a second phase where we looking at windows and then some small kitchen improvements.
What does new basketball mean?
So when we built the amphitheater,
Like you're putting out a
yeah, so this is a little dated. So item D will go more we displace basketball here. We'll provide some basketball down here.
That's great. I know that's real popular with my
Yes.
kids. They all jump on those basketball courts and they're all, there's 50 kids looking for 10 spots.
And what's the child nutrition services?
Those are really small kitchen upgrades.
Like storage they were talking about?
Yeah, storage and each
We need
one
new ovens,
has little
right?
its own story.
And the oven
New ovens?
Yes, in one location. Yeah.
at Main Street.
Yes.
Yeah.
Memory serves
Yeah.
correct here.
Was it Main Street or the Gardens?
Main Street.
For the
Yeah.
ovens.
Garden's a nice kitchen.
Yeah, that's right. Can you add 2 basketball courts instead of just one going back there?
Yes,
Yeah,
I believe there's space for 2, but I'll get back
it
to you
looks
on
like
that.
it.
Yes.
And I know that's
Yeah.
super popular. with
Yes.
kids. Okay.
So Soquel modernization, So we focused on the main building now. We're going to come back with a proposal to do the kinder area as increment 2 within the same DSA package, so that the same contractor can kind of phase from one to the next project. So we just started finalizing the scoping of that. The kiln room that was proposed for kind of phase 2, we've managed to provide a space for it in the main building, because it needs quite a bit of space, and there's a lot to it, to that little room, because it creates a lot of heat. It needs to be safe, there needs to be space around it, all of that. So I think we found a really good room for it, which is going to be adjacent to a maker's lab.
What's a maker's lab?
A maker's lab is a classroom with just really vanilla cleanable surfaces where kids can do experiments or make various models,
Okay.
So it's really general purpose space. Lots of power, there's access to water, and all the spaces are cleanable. Yeah.
SoCal has an amazing maker
Yeah.
space, and they use it. It's
Yeah.
very amazing. Could you just say or explain where the kiln is getting moved to?
Yeah, so it's going to be this area. This became a maker's classroom, and the kiln is going to be adjacent.
Oh, okay.
Access. So we've been updating plans. That's
Oh,
what-
you're moving the maker space. It's moving, right?
Yes, it's going to be
Yeah.
dedicated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
In SoCal, it's been real tricky, because as you come into the, SoCal admin space, it's very narrow. So we've had to work really close. Our team goes there once a week to meet with staff to make sure that everything works for them.
That's cool.
These are early library renderings. Again, we figured out where the librarian's going to go. A lot of the interiors, we're going to come back to you with those spaces.
I love that it looks like a historic mural in the new library. It looks like old SoCal.
Yes.
It's
So
very cool.
there is one mural they want to, keep. So that's
Yeah.
gonna be another. Like, do we redo it?
Yeah.
Way to move it?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Yes.
I love those murals. They've been around forever.
I wouldn't spend a lot of time on, construction stuff, but this side I will, because you can imagine, just big picture, the field, we may start as early as spring break, just to have them set up while kids are out. And with the idea of summer work, being ready for summer work, which is heavy construction, to do the parking lots and to do the field, with the goal of finishing as close to the end of summer as possible. And I'm not guaranteeing that's possible. The contract is going to weigh in on that, but that's the big idea. The reason for that is because shortly after that, in that same summer, the other contract is setting up to do the modernization of the building. And so, we're going to schedule that very closely with those two contractors. I wanted to just talk about space, and Scott, you can weigh in if you want. This whole conversation started when we displaced Steve. Yeah, you can see there's
tore down his room.
the portables, and how do we maximize the buildings that you have already? And so you have this building, which we know is aging. We think it might be kind of getting to the end of its life. We have this building adjacent, which has good bones, but is showing real issues as well. So we feel like that could be kept, but maybe with some work to it. And so, we know exactly the spaces that are in both buildings. Then you have Opal Cliffs that we have CKC using there's changes in their program as well. So they're open to a possible move or downscale, which might hold an opportunity for the district to look at using that space for, possibly a district office, so.
Yeah, I would just say it's a possible win-win because it gives maintenance and operations a building here that will give them the space, storage that they need and deserve, and could have a really front-facing, professional-looking district office over at Opal Cliff. So I'm
Yes.
very excited about the possibility in a boardroom with a real dais and everything. So it's a, we never want to put too much money into a district office, but having a facility that you don't have to build that already exists that just needs some tweaks. Easy for me to say, just a few tweaks, right? But
no.
retrofitting.
No, you're right.
Big boy toilets already, so.
Yeah.
Our plan is to get you all moved around where we're not building a new building for you. We're really taking advantage of your existing infrastructure. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then, Santa Cruz Gardens, so we have CKC, there's some discussion on possibly them enhancing their program at this site.
Yeah, we're working with them.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be
Yeah.
like a unilateral.
Yeah. So, I think this is early days, but we'll come back with that rollout. Right, I'll take up all the time.
No, that's all right. No problem. All right. I think I'm the only thing standing between you and the Golden Bachelor. So here we go.
Oh, wow. Yeah, how'd that go anyway?
Who's gonna get that rose, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so we want to finish this presentation. We'll go up to about 10,000 square feet. A bond program has, and I'm Brett McFadden, District Advocates Group, as your bond program manager. So a bond program has its own apparatus with it. Budget, logistics, legal work. The bond team meets every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. in this room. And it is multidisciplinary, including the superintendent, associate superintendent, director of maintenance, operations, transportation, stacked in their team, Ralph leading their team, as well as then my colleague and I from DAG, and then other folks that come in from time to time. So it's a very dynamic group. And we operate with a Wednesday agenda that's published. We try to publish that a day ahead of time, populate that. We keep minutes and tracking that in terms of our benchmark and our timing with that. So I'm not gonna cover every one of these slides through this, but I'm just gonna go to sort of, actions and accomplishments to date. So obviously we set up the team. You initiated your Series A bond sale, and we completed a re-roofing project over the summer at Main Street. And so now we're good news and bad news. Good news is we are initiating a series of complex projects at virtually at all your sites. And we're initiating that and hopefully to be starting those over and then completing them over the next 18 to 24 months. Bad news is we're initiating the whole set of complex projects at all of your sites. As we've talked to you before, with the rising costs of construction prices and what's happening just sort of in our economy and such, and then the latest tweet that comes out and how that it can affect the price of steel. We're attempting to try to get ahead of that and beat those costs. So we have a very aggressive schedule. Now that schedule can be modified. We want to make sure that we're not overburdening a particular site or overburdening a district, but we are being rather aggressive as Ralph laid out. So we are initiating 3 elementary school site improvement projects, Main Street, Santa Cruz Gardens and SoCal, as Ralph laid out. We hope that we're initiating those and beginning construction on those this summer. We'll come to you in December as Ms. Warner laid out. We have selected a general contractor using a lease-back construction delivery model, and we'll be coming to you in December approving that agreement, as well as the lease-back documentation that has to be by law approved. We intend in terms of the 3 elementary schools is to launch them somewhat simultaneously. Now they'll be staggered, and because we'll stagger those based on, all right, if we're doing pre-construction work or concrete work, concrete subcontractor will come hit one site, then the next week or 2 weeks hit the other. So they'll be staggered, but at a period of time, all 3 sites will have this project going on. We're packaging this as one total project with one general contractor. With this is our strategy. with this. We've aired this to the our legal firm. It's acceptable according to a law under leaseback, and we think this is the best way and most efficient way to execute this project. The challenge will be is while we're considering the elementary site projects one project, let's be real, there are three sort of, sub projects. And so when we have our OAC meetings, owner, architect, contractor meetings on a weekly basis, we'll be talking about all three projects simultaneously. So it's going to get a large agenda. It can get technical because once you start construction, you can easily be surprised, right? Shortly thereafter, as Ralph laid out, we'll be then going into DSA with two large modernization projects for New Brighton and Soquel. Soquel, of course, with your main building, the age of that and its historical significance will create some complexities in how we tackle that in terms of overall construction project with that. While all of these projects are undergoing, they all have their labor compliance, construction compliance, environmental compliance, budgetary work, and that all needs to be happening simultaneously with that. So aggressive project, but we have, with the team that we have and the talent that we have, we feel confident that it's going to be challenging. Don't get me wrong on that, but we feel that this is completely doable. We've also launched a ongoing communication and community engagement element. At the project level, we'll continue to engage critical stakeholders through that process, teachers, parents, students, community. We're also then engaging a communication element and telling the folks what their bond dollars at work community-wide. And so we're making sure that Superintendent Turnbull is getting his 15 minutes of life and get this stuff like that out there. Madam Chair, we're watching costs. He asked for hair and makeup. I said, no way, we're not paying for that. I was gonna ask for a driver next time. So I'm gonna come, these were, you saw these already, so I just would come to this. So in terms of what the fiscal year 25-26 sort of looks like overall, this is where we are. The black star is where we are now. And so we issued a RFQP for leaseback services, had a very robust participation. We went through an interview paper screening and then an in-person interview. We'll be bringing that to you in December with that. Once that's selected, the beauty of the leaseback process is it allows us to bring in the general contractor in what we call pre-construction. So the general contractor joins the team. And that's really, it becomes a very robust discussion because the general contractor has the ability to say, we think we can do this perhaps a different way that might end up saving us time and money with that. So bringing this in early allows us to think strategically, get our game plan, and then we also start to develop and identify our subcontractors through the process as well. So our hope is that once we come out of DSA in the early part of 2026 with approved plans for the 3 elementary schools, we hit the ground running with that. We want to be mobilized in place and then conduct demolition. If we can do that prior to the summer and then get going into what we call a summer slam project to get as much done as we can so that the fields and site improvements are almost done towards the end of August. So, as Ralph laid out, there's a number of variables that can happen in that, but that's our approach with that. Stop there and stand for any questions.
Thanks for bringing out a whole lot of information in the updates too. Anything else we have?
You laid it out very
Okay,
comprehensive.
we either overwhelmed you or underwhelmed you.
No, I gave us a lot of information.
Right.
Excited about the progress.
Oh, no, yeah, it's really seems to be coming along too.
Yeah.
I will tell you as an educator, one thing that's exciting about all of these is they are transformational. So they will, just as this field here has had a fundamental impact on the look and the feel of this campus, these will do as well. And so the opportunity to, the opportunity to create a wide range of opportunities for our students, whether that be maker spaces, whether it be new fields. And I was a high school guy, so athletics was never about sports. Athletics was an instructional program. So I learned a lot more on a wrestling wrestling mat than I did in trigonometry about life and such. So this is the incredible opportunities we have to make an imprint on our community, not only now, but 30 years from now.
In terms of the bidding process for the GC, because we're only doing one GC for this, has that already happened or?
Yeah, that's a great question. So under a leaseback, it isn't necessarily it's a bidding process. It's a selection process, and leaseback allows you to do a couple things. One, you certainly determine what their proposed price is, and so it locks them into that. But then you're also making what's called under leaseback a value judgment or a best value that's bringing that in terms of experience, the team members, how they propose to attack a project. All of that can be weighed as the overall decision. Price, of course, is a large influence on that. But what I like about the leaseback process is that it locks them in on price, at least initially, what their profit will be, what their overhead would be, general conditions. And then at a later date, then we'll come back after you select the firm, we'll lock them into what their pricing structure is. And then several months later, as we come out of DSA, we'll then come back to you with what's called the guaranteed maximum price, total construction price, and it's locked in at that point in time. And so that's the onus is on the general contractor that they have to primarily live with it in that. Now, I'm not saying there aren't changes, there isn't change orders in the leaseback process, but it's significantly less when you compare it to the old traditional hard bid process. So there is a competitive process for the selection of general contractor. We score that. So they issued proposals according to certain criteria with the template that was developed by the district's legal counsel. We had scoring criteria, and once they were scored, they went to the next stage and they were finalists. We came down to 2 finalists. We interviewed them in person, scored their interview, and we put them through the ringer, I think. We made them.
You and Allison doing this?
No, it was a team approach. So Ralph, Steve, Allison, myself, Pam, Jim were the panelists.
Okay.
The interview. And so the firms that were selected as finalists, they had to do two components to the in-person interview. Number one, we made them do a presentation answering 3 specific prompts, and we gave them 15 minutes to do that. And then it was followed with an hour of question and answer, and then we scored that appropriately. And I'm happy to say we had 2 very strong finalists. We deliberated for almost an hour on who we chose to recommend to you. That. So we have done that, and we'll be coming to you to do that. So I'll leave it to the superintendent if he wants to share who that is.
And what board meeting will that be at?
Your December board meeting.
December, okay.
Yes, yeah. We were hoping to, in a best way, we're hoping to bring it tonight, but the amount, since we're using 3 sites legally in a leaseback, you're leasing the site, you have a sublease, and then you have what's called a site lease. A lot of documentation. Well, since there's 3 sites, legally, we have to have a set of documents for each site.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. So my assistant would leave me if she had to turn that around in 24 hours. And so we were worried that we would make a mistake if we tried to bring it to you tonight. So we thought, let's err on the side of caution, because they're legal documents. We don't want to make a mistake and then have to come back,
And that's the next step. You bring it to the board, we approve a GC,
Yeah.
and then we start rolling.
Yes.
Understood.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
you.
An
No,
honor to
this is
serve
not-
you. Thank you.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
This is yours.
It's been in mind.
All right.
Next, right?
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen.
You both.
It's amusing. Oh, he's running away.
I thought he was getting
He's
sick.
throwing out his gun.
Oh, is he?
What is that? X6 right?
Talk with gun.
Good
Good evening, guys.
evening.
It's hard to believe it's been a whole year. It really has. After what those guys said, I don't really have anything. They pretty much covered everything that's been going on in my role lately. Lots of meetings, so I'll just do a quick little slide of what similar to what we did last year. Probably you might even recognize this template. Yeah, apparently there's not a whole lot of templates out there for construction and maintenance type.
So we've now moved on to 8B.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm sorry, yeah.
Long.
Gotcha. I'm just trying to make sure I.
Yeah, no, you got it.
Very
Yeah.
fast, Stevie, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, so I just basically went over
Yeah.
similar to what last year is. I think templates that have different backgrounds you have to pay for. So with our budget issues, let's just reuse the same one. Keep it nice and simple. Yeah. So basically our team's the same this year. We did add right in the middle is Isaiah. He's our newest driver. Been working out great. Really glad to have him. It's been a really solid team. So that's the staff. Basically kind of the similar with the amount of work orders that have been coming in, a little bit less this year. Our completion rate's been pretty much about the same. Just trying to knock them out as soon as we get them, and we've been doing really good. Pretty much every meeting we have, hear a lot of good comments about the guys, how well they're accommodating. We'll get into that a little bit later. So that's kind of what we're looking at as far as work orders. A lot of them that are incomplete revolve around some of the projects that we're waiting to happen. I've got a whole section of work orders that are on hold, literally say on hold, because they're things that we're waiting for that will really they'll get done when the bond projects are all done. So those numbers should start turning around next year, hopefully. So some of the projects that we got this last summer, obviously the fields, that is our newest piece of equipment. We call that the Gator. That's Hector. He got to get a photo op on that. We really haven't got to use it that much because there's going to be some time between when we need to do maintenance on the field. So right now we have that under in storage under cover right now. But as the other schools get done, we'll also be able to use that to help with maintenance.
From school to
the dirt and mulch and things like that. So that's going to be a tool that will be multi-purpose. That will really be nice to have.
What does Hector use for ground maintenance?
What's that?
What does Hector drive?
Right now, he doesn't really have anything. He has a work truck.
Okay.
And he's able to, what we do now is we'll have like a load of mulch or sand or dirt delivered to a site. And he's got to do a lot of it by hand.
Right.
And he still will. But this will really help. It's got a bed on it with a dump that,
I like that.
is electric, hydraulic. So that'll really be nice for him. It'll really help him out. But the reason we really had to buy that was you guys might have seen it at the ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
That the piece of machinery is to manicure the sod, and not sod, but the field, with the infill, the sand, the cork. So that requires some maintenance.
Right, and this will help get it in and out.
Yeah,
of
we
tight
had
spaces too.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
And I'm the guy on the scooter who waves to him.
Yeah.
I don't think you can take that on the road. Right?
No.
Hey, Cam.
No,
Well, you can
can
try.
see this on the street of the freeway.
It's like the lawnmower man,
See,
you know?
that's fun.
Yeah.
When he's, I see him out in the, working in the areas.
Well,
Wave, so.
we're actually gonna get a trailer that will fit in. Right now, the trailer that we have is at least 30-something years old. It's falling apart. And so we needed to get another trailer that will also help facilitate the sod and the dirt and all of that. We probably won't need a whole lot of that once the fields all get done, but there's still a lot of area around the schools that have grass and trees and brush and things like that. So this will really help with that.
These are some of the things that the guys did over the summer. The one on the left is we worked with the COE on one of their programs up at Santa Cruz Gardens where some of the kids were in wheelchairs and had a really hard time getting into our garden. So one of my guys, John, leveled out a lot of that on the left there. And we added some mulch. And then the most cost-effective way we thought was getting these carpets. We had a very small budget. COE kicked in and helped out. We also got some of the carpets. So the carpets work really well with those wheelchairs. And it was really cool to get those kids out there in the garden.
Does that make it ADA compliant? Well, just carpet.
Not really sure. I would say probably not, but it's something that the COE was really pushing for, and we were able to try to help them get that going.
Yeah, I want to put in everything we can for it to make sure it's ADA compliant and.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things at our schools that are kind of grandfathered in over the years that aren't. And that's just the fact of life. I mean, there's areas that we're working on with our projects that will. Obviously, that's a very important thing, and we always strive to make things ADA compliant. And I think overall, we've done a really good job with that.
Can we include that into the modernization, making some of these areas where we ad hoc?
Yeah, there has been discussion on that area.
Yeah,
That'd be great. I think making that a nice and confirmed access, ADA compliant access for the kids would be save us.
It's really
a lawsuit.
working with DSA has been an eye-opening experience because they'll catch things that we didn't see, but there's things that we know are an issue that they don't catch and they don't make us fix. And they might catch it on another project years from now. So we've had that experience with DSA. They're a challenge for sure. The middle picture there is underneath what is the office at SoCal L.
What did you find in there?
Well, I think the most interesting thing that we found was a metal tin box that was a cigarette box.
Wow.
And it was barely hanging together. And Kian, my guy, my other maintenance guy, pulled it out and we brought it into the office to show Diana and Brittany. But it definitely is from probably the 20s and 1910, 1920s. It's really cool. Even though it's a cigarette box, which probably you don't really associate with an elementary school.
Well, they smoke.
Yeah, back then.
Well, that's true. Probably in class.
Yeah.
So these are kind of the things that the guys do, kind of above and beyond. Like Kian, he went from underneath the access point in room 7, which is near the office, went underneath the office, went underneath the library, and ended up really far away under room 9.
Wow.
Crawling in this area, which
We don't have good drawings, so they had to do some exploration of the
Yeah.
existing structure and cut holes and.
Wow.
So
Be kind of cool. Can you do a board tour?
not taking you down there.
GoPro, get a GoPro on his head.
Yeah, Kian would be happy to take you down there. What's really cool about underneath there is the integrity of the wood. All that wood down there, I believe, is old growth redwood. And it's solid. There's very little to any dry rot or any what's the bugs that eat termite? There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. So very little termite damage underneath. It actually was very clean and dry. So that's what we're working with underneath SoCal L, and it has been a back and forth thing with DSA and what they're making us do to if we need to do any structural work underneath. So that was just one of the most recent ones. Building planter boxes. We've really been trying to help out with the sites that ask for those. And John is again, he loves doing that kind of stuff. So we're really thankful to have that. We don't have to buy those, we can make them. Other summer projects, we kind of went over the Upper Commons roof.
That was the last roof at the school that needed to be done. So that school is good to go for roofing for a long, long time. That was the last building and it needed it. It's been a problem with leaks for a long time now, so.
Your crew did the roofing?
No, that one we did hire out. That was the first project for our bond.
Yeah,
And we were able to start that this summer along with
Yeah.
the fencing
Yeah.
at Main Street.
yeah.
That'd be cool if we could do it. A lot of money, that's for sure. But we got it done and it was done on time and they did a great job too. That was the second time we used that roofing company. That's pretty much all I have. If you have any other questions, I do have just one follow-up statement I want to give them all done. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy.
I say I appreciate you coming out and doing this, even though, you say, oh, we do that, it was last year, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is it's really important because you make the school what the schools are for the kids to come into. The custodian staff, the maintenance people, if we didn't have you, who knows what our campuses will look like. So I think it's really, to me, it's really important that you come in here and give us an update and show us these 7 funny looking people, look like they're having a great time.
Yeah.
They look like
They do,
yeah.
Looks happy.
Yeah.
The happy part,
And,
yeah.
and I think it's great too. So thank you.
That kind of leads me into what I was
Tell
gonna
them
say.
that, really appreciate
I
what they
do.
do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I have a question, just
Yeah.
Steve, if you could have one thing for, for your team or what might that be?
Wow, I really try to give them what they need. Obviously I can't help them out financially.
Right.
But I mean, that's across the board, right, with all staff.
Right.
They need more money, but I understand the ramifications of all of that. I don't know if I can really answer that. I think that we try to provide them with a good, solid, safe place to work. I try to be fair with them, and I treat them well and they treat me well, and it shows, I think, in their work. I think that would probably just be it, is just more financial help with that, but we understand what that means.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I just wanted to read a little brief thing that I wrote up to follow up and summarize everything. I really wanted to acknowledge the team that I am fortunate to have, like you pointed out. They consistently go above and beyond, and they do it with a smile. Jim Dupree, my predecessor, once told me, it might have been, some of you might have been here, we need to treat our job like we're customer service. The kids are our customers and we work for them. And without them, we wouldn't have this job. So especially John and Kian, they're always willing to do the, oh, hey, while you're here, type work orders or requests. It happened to me when I was on the maintenance team. I really enjoyed it, and I tried to instill that in them. Like when you show up to a school and you're there to do one specific job, just be willing to listen and hear if they have anything else. So that's one thing that we really pride on is when we show up, if there's anything else that they need, we try to do it when we're there too. And I wanted to thank Hector for trying to keep our campuses looking great and very well manicured. After our previous groundskeeper, Don, I don't know, some of you might have met him, some of you probably didn't. We kind of went into a lull where we were really having a hard time filling that position. The sites really didn't look as good as they could have. But we really made a big turnaround with Hector, and he is really hardworking and he's an awesome employee. I'm really lucky to have him. Also really fortunate to have a good transportation team. Kathy, Isaiah, and our lead bus driver, Enrique. In addition to transporting challenging kids, it's really hard sometimes for them when they're dealing with special ed students. We've had some challenging moments over the last year or two, but they do it, and they're just really important to have. They also play key roles delivering food to the sites, working in the kitchen, helping out on the cash register. They also help out with supervision, like lunchtime and break time.
So that's really cool that they do that. They also deliver all the mail and the correspondence between the sites in the district.
Okay.
So we keep them busy all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool. And also driving on field trips too, which they like to do. Yeah. The entire team is always asked to do a whole lot. I do ask a lot of them sometimes, and they're always willing to help me out, and they always give back even more. So it's really nice, and I thank them a lot. Lastly, I just wanted to say thanks to Scott for always being an inspiration, being professional and fair. His guidance and leadership has been very important. And always having the students' best interest. And then lastly, I just wanted to thank the board for you guys for fighting for the kids in the community. So I know we're facing some challenging times, and just want to let you guys know that I appreciate everything. So from the top to the bottom. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Steve.
That
was really beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I see why they're so happy in their photos. You're a good guy to work for.
Because I'm so positive. You oversee the custodian staff?
In the summer.
Just, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of integral in what's going on with custodians, but generally the principal is their direct supervisor. Yeah. But in the summertime, they fall under me just because, principals are gone. They took a few weeks off.
Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much.
I want to see if you hear this, just as like a really beautiful example. We have a student in the extensive support needs class at Stanford Peace Gardens, and so I get to attend their IEP. And that class, has bounced around from campus to campus, and there's a very teary mama who shared in that meeting how much it has meant to their child and to all the entire class community to be at Stanford Peace Gardens. The garden is a perfect example of the way the team and staff above and beyond to really integrate them into that campus and everyone believe. And that they're so happy to be there, and the work that Steve and his team have done to help make that possible was exceptional. It's such a great example of why like every little thing matters and every person's job touches kids.
Yeah.
So it's done a great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for that. All right. Now we're ready for 8C, the discussion regarding LCAP.
Well, thank you. It's really hard to come after those amazing presentations, but I do have some really positive news to share in our LCAP bite this time, and it is we're doing it in combination with an annual update that I typically do, which is the curriculum update. And so every content area in the state of California has adopted standards, and then there are frameworks that go with those, and then there are adoption processes that go with those. And so I just want to make a comment that on page 159 of the docket, the right-hand column of the history social studies section, the adoption year is 2025. As this board knows, the former year had not yet been changed on this document, so that's a current positive adjustment to make. Tonight, I'm going to just be talking about math curriculum specifically because it's been talked about so much. The framework was published in 2023. We've been teaching to that, and we've been doing a lot of focusing on mathematics. And so while, we as a district have to take a look at when we have adopted standards and frameworks and books for all content areas, the newest one that's coming up for us is mathematics. And so we were waiting, as you know, for the State Board of Education to come up with their list of approved math curricula. They did so at the end of last month. They published those lists. Those lists were the number of submissions were about 67 curricula. producers, and there were 64 that were approved by the state of California, or the school, the Board of Education of California. So either there are that many that are so good, or they change process. They change process. And so what they did, and that's why I'm bringing this one to the board at this time, because it's so timely, is what they said was, we have a list of criteria that we're looking at. They do rubrics, so they kind of rate areas of importance. And what their criteria is if in this curriculum, we even see one of these one time, we check the box. So it doesn't have to be in every chapter. It doesn't have to be in every.
What? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So we were really hoping to see like this magic list come out. And we were going to be so excited to see this magic list of 64. So what happens from there, and just so this board knows, is that not every single district in the state of California looks at all 64 books on that list. That's just not manageable. And so what they do is they have hub libraries, and those hub libraries exist at different counties' offices of education. So this particular hub was located down in Southern California in the County Office of Education, I believe San Bernardino, did a deep dive into all of those 64, and they are coming up with a recommendations list. The recommendations list has to meet all of the criteria of the toolkit, and there are some additions that different districts have. So there are non-negotiables for, some districts that are not non-negotiables for others. And so what they do is they kind of rate them in the component areas of the toolkit, but then there are additional ones. So one additional one that's like a non-negotiable for us is it has to be in 2 languages. The Spanish and English have to be available to students, and the teacher edition and the student edition have to both be in both languages as well, because you cannot have a dual language immersion program and not have the teacher resources necessary. And there are very few that actually offer both of those, and it's at Hampton. We were supposed to find out who that handful were. I attended a really fabulous Zoom training that was produced by Unbound Ed. And they basically said, if you are in the state of California and you have a multilingual population, and the multilingual population includes Spanish speaking, there's just a very few that meet our criteria. And they had a list of practitioners on their panel that are from Californians Together, who are the creators of the ELD roadmap. And so what they were really saying mattered to me and to us as a district. Some of the other components that the County Office of Education is looking at in this process is, once we get the San Bernardino list distilled down, then they're going to bring those resources to our County Office of Education. They're going to hold kind of an open session, if you will, in January for any practitioner in the county to come and take a look at those books. From those, we'll select 4. We'll select 2 at the elementary level and 2 at the middle school level to pilot. That's pretty typical. If we don't like either one of those at either one of the schools or either one of the levels, we'll go back and try for a 3rd. We're just not going to go back and try for a 3rd that does meet our non-negotiables. So the English and Spanish translations aren't even good enough, because it can't be just English translated into Spanish. It has to be authentic Spanish. And then there are some other components that we're specifically looking for. And the preliminary list for us right now is they have to be socially, linguistically, and culturally relevant. That is part of the new framework. They have to have high academic language and talk routines, which is also part of the framework. They have to have algorithmic fluency practice spiraled in throughout all grades, and that's not part of the framework, but it is part of our plan, and so that's going to be an essential component. And then it has to include the big ideas that are in the framework and social justice components, including real world connections. So those are the things that we're going to be coming to the table with. We have a list of 11 teachers so far who have volunteered to participate in the pilot at both levels. All of the teachers at the middle school will be involved, and then we have 7 teachers at the elementary level so far who have volunteered to participate, and we're really excited about that. It's about the same number we used when we went through our science adoption a few years ago, and as you can see, our science scores are really high, so they did a really good job of choosing applicable curriculum and content for the work that they were doing. So what we're hoping for is to bring to the board after those pilot processes are over. We'll do one and then the next at the end of spring this year, so that we can make a purchase for next school year and line up the professional development that's associated with that. And just one more addition to this update, and that is that the going rate on curriculum right now is upwards of $200 per student. So you just calculate the number of students we have, and it's growth, because obviously the cost of materials is growing. So something for us to keep in mind as we're making that plan forward.
Allison, is that baked into your projections?
As far as what we will be receiving, not yet. That is something we'll be looking into.
How long does that process of reviewing the textbooks to choose the one that we want?
It can depend. So when we bring the team of volunteers together, they can decide to do one of two things. One is one group can decide to use one pilot, and one group can decide to use the other pilot, and then they can kind of like cross-reference, and that takes a number of weeks. If they say we all want to do this one and then we all want to do this one, then it's going to double time. So it kind of depends on the format that they choose.
Who's they? The math teachers?
The volunteer math teachers at New Brighton and at the elementaries who wanted to participate in the pilot process.
Do you assign those, or do they volunteer for that?
They volunteer. We sent when we sent the math efficacy and support survey to teachers, we had 22 respondents, and the last question was would you like to participate in the pilot of new curriculum? And so that's how we got a number. Just ask. And so just kind of thinking about those processes, that there is, something to be said for actually touching both, looking at both, and being the same person. So if it takes a little bit longer by doing that, that's okay. That's absolutely okay. If we do it the other way, there just has to be a lot of time to collaborate and discuss and share and those kinds of things. So it's just a little bit different.
And so the pilot works by they get those materials, and it's whatever module they would have been doing, they use those instructional materials instead of the ones they would have been using.
Yeah, they'll get that, and there was one in the office, and you can look at it anytime. Because one of the publishers sent kits already. But there's a bag that they get, and they get all of the instructional materials, and then they get the student materials, they get the resource materials, assessment materials. They can look at all of it, but in practice, they'll use, wherever they are in the curriculum for that piece of it.
And is this process, even if we do where each team looks at both books, is this for next year, or are we talking like a whole nother year?
We would like to, our biggest dream is to have a curriculum for next year for 2 reasons. One is that the curriculum that we have right now they don't make it anymore. Finding it is more expensive than buying it. And it's not up to date. So it doesn't reflect the new math framework. It doesn't reflect the new principles of learning. So in that way, it would be cost effective for us to go quicker. And also I think it would be better for our students on the learning end.
Is that realistic though? Like half a year to try it out?
I think there's a lot of motivation by the team to take a look at a new curriculum. And so I think because we're doing our math visits, and because we're doing so much, talking about lesson design and those kinds of things, that it makes us have to change our curriculum that we currently have and kind of manipulate it and add on and add supplements, which are additional costs anyway. So I think there is a lot of motivation to really be thoughtful and expeditious.
That was one of the things that teachers mentioned in the survey too, was get the new curriculum in.
Yeah.
And let me clarify real quick. So.
I had another follow-up for you too.
So the cost isn't necessarily baked into the expense piece. I have it in assigned as an estimated $200,000 for the monthly curriculum. And that was in unaudited actuals at the bottom, the very bottom. Now there's a couple of.
Yeah, so you did, so it was.
It's accounted.
You'd already.
Accounted for, but it's not like baked into the expenses. So I'm
Right.
sorry, I'm like, I need to clarify that.
No, and I understood what you're talking about.
Okay.
And does that include PDs and training and all that stuff
The
too?
curriculum purchases always go, we bundle them for as many things as we can get. So we'll say like, we're not gonna pay that amount, and as you know, I did that with our last curriculum. Not gonna pay that amount unless you do these things, and most of the time that includes the free PD.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I think we got a good negotiating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting.
Excellent.
So
Oh.
January, you said is when they'll be available for the volunteers to go.
The County Office of Education will make them available to the entire public. We're going to be, once we find out those 4, and it's 4 or 5, we will actually talk to the publishers beforehand and get those here.
Okay.
So, but we want everybody to see everything, so it's kind of like a little bit of a, yeah.
When you say you'll talk to the publishers and get those here, would that be before January or?
Well, we were gonna try.
Okay.
It depends on how many people are asking them for pilot materials, because typically in the past, they haven't asked us to pay for those materials. They haven't asked us to ship those materials. And in more recent years, they give you more parameters or like a small cost, and our kind of non-negotiable has been like, we're not gonna pay for a pilot. You want us to buy your stuff, so you should send it to us.
100%.
So that said, we've been pretty lucky with that.
Okay. And out of the 64 choices or something like that, we narrow it down to like 4 you said, and then we narrow that down to 2 that we try out. Are those the same 2 curricula that every school district in Santa Cruz would be testing and piloting? Or are we doing 2 and then Live Oak would do another 2 and Pajaro Valley would do another 2?
Yeah, so it's a great question. Every school district can choose their own. If a school district in the county of Santa Cruz chose a curriculum that wasn't in multiple languages, I would be surprised.
Me too.
I think we're going to be very close within that short list. We work really closely to, the districts surrounding us, and my job of life is talk a lot about curriculum. Where we would see maybe a little bit more difference is at the middle school or high school, because we don't have a high school that's in our school district. So we don't think about necessarily the way that they the way that they adopt. We think about the way that math is taught, and whatever curriculum we choose has to really kind of feed into how math is taught at that level. So it's just kind of a little bit of a difference from the elementary. But
Which was my next question, is how do we vertically integrate from New Brighton to, say, Soquel, as we're the feeder school there, to make sure that the curricula that we're teaching in 8th grade is going to flow right into what the math curricula that they're teaching in 9th grade.
so glad you asked that question.
Wow.
We have a vertical articulation team, and so our New Brighton staff and Christina meet with their high school and middle school staffs about mathematics. So it's really nice to be able to have that shared understanding about what we're doing, what our goals are, all of those kinds of things, so that we don't get into a place where we actually found ourselves. We found ourselves realizing that there were some strategies that they were teaching at the high school that didn't mirror the strategies that we were teaching in middle school. And it was like this aha moment this year to say, oh, we're teaching kids 3 ways to do this. They're doing it 1 way here. They need to have this way really solid. Right?
In terms of the books, can we have some influence and say, if we're going with, we had 2 options, A and B. If we're going with A, does the high school then able to get the same books that correspond with either the same book or publisher for their high school version as we're using the middle school? You know what I mean? So there's that flow of material.
Yeah, I mean, those are great questions. I think the question actually is gonna go like maybe the reverse direction, because Santa Cruz City Schools did an early adoption of some of their middle and high school curriculum.
They probably already have books in there.
But those may not be ones that meet the framework obligations. So they would have to make some adjustments if they weren't based the standard. So just those are kind of some nuances, but and high school is a little bit different in middle school because they're subject specific. So like you've got algebra and you've got geometry, and you're not necessarily teaching the same processes. Although hopefully you're using similar language. So there's some crossover. Most of the curriculum we're looking at, because it's a K-8 curriculum adoption, is only K-8. So what they're using, they may not even change.
Correct me if I'm wrong, like, so in 8th grade, there's like Math 1,
Mhm.
right? And then when you go into 9th grade, high schoolers or those freshmen will have an option to either take Math 1 again or Math 2 if they feel they've progressed enough, right? So does our Math 1 mirror what their Math 1 is, since we both have the exact same math class from 8th to 9th grade?
It's the same standards no matter what. So no matter whether you're getting it in one grade or the other grade.
It might just have a different textbook or
Yeah.
something.
We typically have used similar texts. And that's mostly because there wasn't that many that were good prior. And I think you would be able to see by the last board adoption, not our board, but the state board adoption, the list was so much smaller than this one. And so there's so many fewer to choose from. But because the bar is so high now with what they're competing to do, I would guess we're all going to be in a very similar caliber of language, lesson design, structure, all of those kinds of things.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for all that.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I ask one question? Chris, are you waiting for the board policy?
No.
Okay.
I actually was about to leave, but I didn't want to leave in the middle.
I know there's like 5,000s on there, so I thought maybe you were gonna wait for that. And I was,
Yeah, if I need to.
well, I don't think you need to,
I
but
wasn't planning.
We can move.
She just
things.
do you mind if we move it up?
Yeah.
Well, you're-
You want?
We're
can
gonna
do
move that- we're gonna
5,000,
move that one
move it
up.
up.
Yeah, so that would be 8H to move if the board is okay.
All right, great. Moving 8H next. Let's find what page that is.
And I'll start it. and
The
then-
release of directory information?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So it's a board policy that's
189.
page 189. Thank you.
That's what she's waiting for? the
Well,
directory?
I wasn't sure. That's why I wanted to ask.
It doesn't seem very sexy.
Maybe. Board policies are. So like most board policies,
Yeah.
part of the rationale for changing or considering updating this is to get in line with state law. And so student directory information is something that we guard very closely. What is student directory information? That's like people's name, address, telephone number, date of birth, email address, that sort of thing, right? So, yeah, so obviously we take that very seriously. And so this board policy, it removes some outdated language. And we did keep in there, you'll notice like a reference about 12th grade. And usually we take out the high school stuff, but we intentionally left that in this time just so that there was never any confusion about somebody may say, well, at this other school, you know, this was released. And we said, well, we don't have 12th graders, right? And so we just wanted to leave that in to make sure that we were fully covered. And so those are some of the reasons for the update. Chris, I don't know if you wanted to add anything.
Most of the policy updates, especially regarding records and things, also are considering increased immigration enforcement and protections for students' privacy and making sure that we aren't inadvertently putting our families at risk and this sort of things. And so just making sure that it's very clear in our policy what information is accessible or not accessible, and making sure that our teams are well trained in that as well.
Right.
Application.
I was wondering why the default is that the information is available unless the families say they don't want it,
Right.
instead of the opposite. That families have to say, we're okay with our information being shared with
Yeah.
colleges, employers, military recruiters.
I don't have a good answer about that. I think for our purposes, how that would look in our context, for example, is at our middle school, each of our counselors meet with every single student for our college and career readiness process. And so in that process, students have the option to, well, all students meet with a high school counselor. In that process, also have the opportunity to act, as we're describing, opt in to that process. And so we don't have any policies or practices currently in place where we actively distribute information. Our practice, right, the policy allows for that, but our practice is that students would opt into these activities and would publish their information or share their information. Without then pursuing that opportunity, they wouldn't do that.
And then obviously for us, I mean, it's not actually something that happens. This happens in high schools for military request that information.
Right, yeah, colleges, yeah.
But
I guess then I'm wondering if our practice is the opposite and we don't actually interact directly with colleges or military, then
not as a TK through 8th grade district.
wouldn't we maybe want our policy to be more protective of our students, since it's more of an exception that these entities would even be seeking access?
I mean, the default is, yeah, and again, this is kind of the tricky part with this one. High schools, you know, can't do that. That's the way ed code is set up, and whether it seems intuitive or not. And so, I mean, generally speaking, we wouldn't make a change from that even as a TK through 8 district. And again, it's kind of a formality for us because we don't have a high school.
Wait, you're saying that high schools can't adopt something that's the opposite of this policy?
I mean, generally speaking,
Yeah.
no. I mean,
Yes, it's laid out by law.
Yeah.
It's the policy.
Yeah.
Scott, this doesn't have, I mean,
doesn't have an actual impact on us.
I mean, I already know the answer, but just to make sure in case anybody out there might be, this has nothing to do with ICE. And
No,
that's just
no,
a
no,
government.
no. I mean, any connection is, I mean, we
Programs.
want to always protect our students.
100%.
Privacy to the most extent of the law, so, yeah.
Just military recruiters.
Well, yeah, that's why, but
I know,
that's
yeah.
federal, so I didn't know if you give access to one federal agency, that you
Yeah.
give it to all federal agents, I don't know. That's a
My
rabbit hole
question
I
was,
probably
why
don't
have
go
the
through.
high school information in this, but you explained it, it's just good to have this information in there, who knows,
Yeah.
so. And I agree with you, is that parents hopefully know they could opt out of this, I mean, especially in high school. If they're knowing about this policy, I don't think it's a problem here, but. It's unfortunate that, yeah, you have to know about it and you have to opt out.
And that part of the policy only identifies a small number of
Yeah.
directory, name, address, email, and phone. So it doesn't go deeper than that.
Would we ever make it the opposite?
In my opinion, no. I mean, these items are well vetted by CSBA, obviously, based on law, based on
Yeah,
ed
I
code,
don't-
so
yeah.
no.
Yeah, you can't really.
It would not be
block
my
them,
recommendation.
Yeah,
No.
Okay.
unless you want to go rogue, but, no, yeah. This doesn't sound right, but, it's the way that it's set by law.
All right. Ariel?
I mean, is there language then that we could just say that this is like high schools, like, it just feels so weird, it's just. It feels weird because our actual practice is different, and it's weird because this doesn't really even apply.
Yeah, I think the latter. I don't know if our practice is different. It's just we don't get requested information in the same way that high schools do. So I think if we want, we can just take out the part.
I think just keep it in there, just to have it in there, who knows? You know, it's not going, I mean, you could say, well, I'm not sure if you want to say anything, but in a way, I was thinking that way, but on the other hand, it might be prudent just to have that in there, just if, who knows? What do you think? You think leaving it all in there?
I really appreciate your
Mhm.
conscientiousness about that and what I think, like have our policy measure practice. And I also agree, Ted, that it's helpful to have it there in the way that is going to be the student's experience in school, and to appreciate that is the practice as students matriculate into higher grades. And so I can appreciate the attention. I think knowing that, you know, as Scott said, this information isn't going to be requested of our students for these purposes, but for the grade level. And when they're in high school, you know, to your point, unless students opt out of those processes, that would be kind of really contributed to segregation.
Thank you.
Could we add something that just informs how people can opt out? Like, who do they even go to? Like, you would seek out your school counselor, principal, I don't know, like.
Yeah, it's a fair question. I think what's tricky
Yeah.
because we don't get the requests for this information. It would be like, in some ways, kind of arbitrary and made up. Like, if you wanted to opt out of this process that's not gonna happen, hypothetically, this is what you would do. Like, it wouldn't be genuine, because we don't have those requests for the student information now, right, at our grade level. And for the high school district, we are not the high school district, and so our policy wouldn't be applicable once the students are in high school, because that would be the policy of the high school district.
Yeah.
That would dictate how those opt-out activities happen.
So it's almost here as more of a reference for us.
Right, so that's why I was thinking, could it say as a reference when students enter high school, colleges and prospective employers, blah, 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 like.
We can add something to the beginning of that paragraph saying, as students enter into high school, comma. That
Yeah.
might be a short and sweet way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There you go.
All right,
Teamwork.
all right.
But still, the policy would
It
still stick
keeps
with
that
us.
Yes,
same.
yes.
Okay.
So just add those few words to the beginning of that paragraph. And when students enter high school, comma, colleges and prospective employers, dot, dot, dot. Great.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to put you on the
Right.
spot. I just thought maybe you were waiting for that.
Yeah.
I know you get up at the crack of dawn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
All right, where were we?
Or-
E,
We, you know,
I don't know what page
is that
we're at the
one?
very last one, the last.
Two?
Right now,
All right, so page 162, item 8D, discussion regarding board policy 1312.2, complaints concerning instructional materials.
Yes, so quick rationale for why this board policy has been brought forward by CSBA for update is mainly that it now aligns with Senate Bill 153, which was from 2024. And that bill prohibits the district from using materials that could result in unlawful discrimination. I think we can all agree with that. That we don't want students reading books that make them feel discriminated against. So there's now a new distinction between general complaints and discrimination related complaints. And so if a book is deemed to, somebody feels like it discriminates against them, not just that it makes them feel uncomfortable, that goes under our uniform complaint procedure, which many complaints.
I also read it as, maybe I read it wrong, but as cause discrimination.
Yes.
So it could
Either.
go feel or
Good point.
I'm going to.
Language is
Yeah,
important. Yes,
yeah.
thank you. Yes. Some
Let's
of the
go
other.
back to religion and what we were talking about in the last board meeting about a policy that was protecting religion in books and stuff like that.
I don't think so. No, this is more, I mean, and so we have a good process in our district for selecting books. It goes through a group of folks that review them. And so a little bit like the other, like usually doesn't get to this point, but let's say for some reason a book snuck through and it said a particular race was inferior or something like that, right? I know.
We're putting Mein Kampf on the in the libraries.
Obviously, we have systems in place not to let that happen.
Who's on that panel that chooses the books?
There's teachers, librarians.
It's our stewardship team, so it's a cross section of certified and certificated members. And I am the chair of those meetings.
Sure. But if one slips through, that's then this is the process that could be used. And so this policy has been in existence. There's just been some updates. And some other key changes. Clarifies that instructional library materials cannot be removed simply because they include inclusive or diverse perspectives. We've had, you may remember, a parent that challenged that said they didn't want those perspectives in books, and we walked them through our process and why that was okay. And they materials can't be used if they would subject a student to unlawful discrimination. And it updates outdated wording, clarifies who may file complaints, and then removed some redundant sections. The rationale for this update.
Great. Any questions or comments?
So you said there's a general complaint and then there's a complaint process and then a discrimination complaint process?
So the general complaint, so uniform complaint procedures are for identified groups, protected classes, race, class, gender, that sort of thing. And a general complaint is when it doesn't involve a protected class.
So this is a uniform complaint process?
If it's discrimination against one of those protected classes, yes.
I tried to find exactly what the process is for the uniform complaint, and I looked at these different policies and I didn't see exactly like this group convenes and this is
1312.3, if you went to that policy.
I looked at that. Maybe I clicked on all of 13.12.3 because there's 3 of them that are linked down.
You just went to our policies and went to 13.12. That is 1312.3, I'm sorry. That is our UCP, and that policy gets updated a lot.
It's also on the front page of our website.
Okay, so I'm in this policy that we're looking at, if you scroll down, it has links to 1312.3. It has 3 different links. And when I open each one of those, they're a little bit different. And I'm not reading in any one of those, here's what the policy is. So is there something different than these 3 links that has, this is actually like how these.
Our policy, yeah. So
It's pretty concise. It is on the website. And I think it really runs through people on the steps to make a complaint. Like that's usually the top of thing that I need, like Department of Insurance or Department of Justice is all like the first thing is on any of the government websites is how to file a complaint.
Okay, I'm literally looking at, this is SoCal, this is our regulation, and like, it just, I don't see where it says, this is where. Like, this is who convenes.
This is who convenes.
Like, they'll be notified.
Can I add
Yeah.
something to this?
Yeah.
It doesn't say who convenes. The UCP complaints don't go to a panel, they go to the UCP compliant officer,
Okay.
who in this district is me. And I have to go through a series of investigative like steps. The UCP complaint process kind of lists what all of those procedures are, and that's on the front page of our website. So if you want kind of more information about like the practicality, that policy is probably the better place to look.
Okay, so then what is this policy that's linked, that's 13-12-3, that's linked in the document that we're looking at?
So, I want to make sure I'm staying on course. So, I'm feeling two things. One, maybe I need to provide some information either in Friday update or in a future board meeting about 13-12.3 separately. And so for the policy that's on the docket for tonight, I guess.
The reason I'm asking is
Yeah.
because in this policy, then it goes into talking about when deliberating on this, these are some things to consider. And I would like to better understand more concretely what goes into considering this kind of a complaint. And I feel like this paragraph about things to consider is kind of vague. And so that's why I was looking for in doing my homework, like what's the actual policy? And so when I went down here and I clicked and I was like, oh, okay, well, this must be it. And then it was confusing because all three of these things were different. And this. And so I was having a hard time finding just at the basic level what the steps are for that, that I could reconcile with, okay, so what does that mean for this policy?
Yeah.
So that's.
And for us, I mean, the procedure and the regulation are on the front page of our website. So,
So then maybe just as a follow-up, you could clarify what these are, because I'm like, just not.
Is one AR, because you have duplicate policy numbers, so one, I know the ARs would be the same policy number, so is one the AR?
So a question that I'm hearing is in the references, right?
It takes you to the AR, yeah.
I assume that the references that these were going to be our policies, that it's referenced in this, and maybe that's incorrect. Maybe I should be going someplace else to look at.
Yeah,
Like,
so one is the policy, below it is the AR, although it doesn't list the AR. So like 13-12.3 is listed twice. The first one should be the policy, the second one's the AR. And that's about the compliance officers and so on and so forth.
So then I'll look for the basic policy elsewhere, but my question still stands. These things that are listed as things to consider seem a little broad, and I could see if something like this comes up that it could be potentially contentious. So I would like to better understand what the things are that would actually and always be evaluated when a complaint like this comes up.
I can just suggest perhaps that on one of these links, there is an exhibit to like a parent notification. And in that parent notification can be a link directly to the procedure that we have on the front of the website. So just it's another way to access that direct information through that exhibit, through that. Yes.
Ariel, which part of are you looking at the paragraph that when deliberating upon challenged materials? Is that the paragraph you're looking at?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And in your concern is that it's too broad?
Yes. I would be interested in what consistently would be like,
the superintendent or any designee or committee established, like which one of those is going to review a complaint like this? And then there's a whole bunch of different things that could be considered. Are there 2 or 3 that always are going to be considered? And then the others are additional things that could be considered.
Yeah, and that's a good clarification. I appreciate it because, you know, board policy is really intended to be broad in nature, so it doesn't spell out exactly like in that case. It doesn't say you have to choose a superintendent or a designee or a committee. It spells out what is allowed, and then we're able to implement based on that. So in this case, in my humble opinion, the broad nature of it is meeting its purpose as a policy. It's not intended to be spell it out, you know, in a like a recipe or like a
Well,
step
you
by
do that
step.
in AR, right?
Right.
AR, you know.
Yeah, I guess I see it as if a family feels that they're being discriminated against, and then in their case, there's one decision that's made, and then someone else has a complaint, and then there's another body that is used to deliberate. It feels like, well, why did that group get the superintendent and that group got a committee?
Well, it's yes, so consistency is what you're talking about, but the board policy would never like we implement the way that process works based on what's allowed by the board policy. So the board policy is allowing us to use any of those. If you go through a lot of the policies, you wouldn't find that it just says like only the superintendent or only the designee or only the committee. It spells out what's allowed, and then we implement based on what's allowed. It's not like script. Can't think of the right word, but it's
I hear that, and I also think that in some cases it might be helpful for there to be consistency. Like all of these things might be allowed, but maybe we want to say for this type of complaint, we always want there to be consistency. And
so only for complaints about books, because our, you know, that's what this one is generally around.
About discrimination.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand whether you're more about the overall UCP process in general and wanting to be more prescriptive about that in board policy, or
I'm talking about this
one.
I'm talking about this policy.
Because this policy references back to say it's not just a general complaint. If it's one of these protected classes, you follow your UCP process, which we already have in place. You see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. Do you see what I'm saying? That how a family could feel like there's just things are handled differently for the same type of discrimination.
But it wouldn't mean that we handle it. I know, you know, it's like semantics a little bit, right? Because I do hear what you're saying. You want consistency.
Yeah.
Am I paraphrasing you? Right?
Yeah.
And just because this policy allows districts to use different options, it wouldn't mean that when we actually implement it, that we would not implement it consistently.
I hear that.
Basic policies just cover basic everything, you know, and then so are you asking just to have like the superintendent listed only? Or?
I think I have a fundamental difference in how we approach policies personally, because I think that policies, and you know, I like policies to be more guidance and not just, well, these are all the things that are allowed, and so we're gonna end up doing these. Like if we have a practice and this is how we do it, then to me, I would want the policy to reflect that. But that's my personal, like, you know, and I realize that it's much broader. So I think that's just the challenge that I'm having with this language, is it feels.
Yeah, I think I'm feeling you. It feels too broad for you. And I would say that CSBA would say, then that's correct. And they've hit the money on the mark, that the board policy language is intentionally broad. And then when there's a regulation, that's more prescriptive.
Talking about like an SOP, right? Like A, B, C, and D, and is that what I'm?
So sort of somewhere in between, like not necessarily SOP, but like something that's a little bit more like this is our policy. This is how we tackle things. And the SOP might be okay, then there's 60 days for this to happen and
Right.
like this kind of a notification, but
And-
the entity that reviews things, if that's going to be consistent, then to me that should be our policy versus the
I think,
The
well,
AR.
what you're referring could be in the AR because it says the complaint officer is the assistant superintendent of educational services. So they would take, in the AR, it tells them, it states who takes
Yeah.
the complaint. The policy is basically pretty much have to throw everything in there. The superintendent, but what if he's not available? He's the only one listed. Then there's going to have to be a designee.
Well, it's
who's
kind
gonna
of
be
all roads end
Yeah,
Jessica.
right.
I
But
mean,
then you look
at the end of the day, it
Yeah.
all ends, she's the committee. It all goes right to her, you know?
right, and then that's all spelled in the AR.
An analogous situation may be like something you have some practical experience with is inter-district transfer appeals. Like I think if you went to the board policy on that, you'd hear some vagueness, you'd read some vagueness into it. Though I think the way, if you've sat on those appeals, we do it very consistent, right? What our district's practice, historical practice is we do that very consistently for the very reason you named, right? We don't want one family to go, oh, I got this, procedure, and another family say, I got something different. There must be favoritism. So even though the board policy paints a broader brush, we implement consistently. Like think about our, I know, listen, trying to tie an analogy here, but think about like we have a one pager for how inter-district transfer appeals will go. And it's very consistent. We use that every time. It's not a policy. It's not even a regulation. This is how we implement it. So I think, understandably, you see policies as a little bit more prescriptive than what they are intended to be.
Yeah.
They're not intended to be prescriptive.
Vague for a reason. Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
They'll give
yes.
us maybe
It's
a little bit
point,
more
yeah.
leeway and Jessica with what we're dealing with and to encompass more situations, not just a black and white or
No, I don't know, any policy,
Right.
not just this one.
And if you don't mind, I'm just gonna do an addition. In a district specifically like ours, there are, because we're so small, there are times when a complaint may have to go to a different person because there's a conflict of interest.
True.
And so there are, in larger districts, you don't really have that, but in ours, sometimes you do. And so there may be a person that files a UCP complaint about a book, there could be somebody who files one about a complaint about a teacher. Any number of those things can happen. If I'm connected to any one of those and I cannot be the impartial person, then we have to make an adjustment to who does that, and we would seek legal support for making that decision. So I'm only saying that because in small districts like ours especially, you do come into those complex situations.
Yeah. Okay. I do think though that the link to the actual policy should be included here since we're referencing that this is following our uniform complaint procedure. That maybe that could be clarified in the links below. Here's the actual policy.
As just clarification, are you saying that what's linked in the references
Yes.
are you saying what's linked in the references is the AR and you think it's CSB?
I don't know because
Can I
I
just
don't.
finish my question?
Yeah.
Sorry. Are you saying what's linked in the references is the administrative regulation and you think CSBA should have put in the board policy in addition or instead of that? I just want to make sure I understand.
I think it should link to SUESD's uniform complaint procedure. Because the things that are listed on 166 that are 1312.3, they open to a SoCal document, but it doesn't seem like that's the complete policy. Or procedure, whatever the.
So the first one I clicked on went to our board policy 1312.3.
And then, yeah, second,
Right.
the AR.
The next one go to the AR, I would assume. Yeah, regulation 1312.3. So I'm not, I want to fix, but I'm not
So the
sure what to
first,
fix.
so the first thing that opens. Again, I just see all the things that. So policy, right? I
And then
don't
if
see
you-
the thing where it says this, it goes to Jessica or whatever the naming is, and then this is what happens. I don't see that language.
That's on the website.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'd like it to be linked in the,
The website linked?
whatever those steps are. I think it should be linked in this document.
Is it the second 1312.3? Possibly.
That's the regulation.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the regulation? What's the third one? Oh, and a PDF.
The PDF, I don't, maybe it's the PDF, but so if I'm a parent and I come across this policy and it says that if filed, investigated, and resolved in accordance with this policy. I have spent time trying to use this document to get to that policy, and I'm having a hard time. So I just want to make it really easy for whoever's reading this to be like, oh, this is what that's referencing.
So yeah.
And it sounds like there's some other document steps, something that somewhere that I think would be helpful if it's linked in here.
No form is required. Complaints can be sent via email or paper delivery. Oh, so these are not links on our website, but so I think, so if we.
Is that the AR?
No, it's on the
No, it's the
website.
website,
It's
the
the unit.
procedure.
Oh, okay,
Uniform
okay.
complaint code. So was you, what's the link that you're saying is missing?
It sounds like there's something somewhere that lists out that this is the complaint goes to this entity, and then this is what happens.
The uniform complaint procedure.
Yes.
That's on our district website is the one that we provide families every year. It doesn't explain more or less than what the state requires, which is that there is a UCP officer, that person, will investigate the complaint,
Yeah.
which is what we do.
There's the information. So it's in what she said, when you go to the website under uniform complaint, here's the procedure. And then when you scroll it down, it says you do these things and this is who you write to.
Okay, so then I think what I'm asking is for this to be one of these links. And maybe it's even the link where it says in the body of it, like where it references board policy 1312, maybe it's right there. Maybe it's just a link right there that it takes you to it.
And even though the regulation spells out who the complaint officer is. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the first
it's
line.
in the regulation too.
So I
So
think
go
that's
the
the
second
second
line,
1312.3,
the AR.
which
you
is the
said.
more prescriptive regulation as opposed to the broader board policy.
It's the same address. That's it. That's the address. So it's there.
So you think people should be linked to this, the AR? on
It's,
the
they
policy?
are, it's in there.
It's one.
I know, but it's
one of the
in there, but
references.
it's not linked in the policy. Are you asking to have that linked in the policy and then they take them directly to the AR?
It's in the reference section.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, both
Right.
the policy and the
Yeah, I know
AR.
what you're saying, yeah, and I mean, general public may not know which one to go to, but still, it is all listed in there. It doesn't say AR board policy or AR, so. Want to bring this back for a third reading?
I don't think we need a
Second.
third reading. I just, I just think it's confusing, and if there's something that could make it really clear, this is when we're referencing this policy, then this is which one it is. Because or maybe they need to be labeled differently down here, but there's three links that
that
say
might do it. What if we
uniform
just,
complaint procedures, and you open each one and they're different. And if you're a person who has a complaint, you're like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
so what if in the links, they do say the same thing? If we just added, sorry, let me get to the right page, with the numbers, right here. So it would just say, AR at the second one, right here.
Okay.
Or even here in the title, like.
Which one's the BP and which one's the AR?
Yeah, just
Oh,
label
yeah.
them. What about that?
Yeah.
just for this one policy, not every time we do.
Yeah, just this one.
Oh, because the references are many.
Yeah.
Just this one right now.
Just this one time.
We can't change those. Those come from
Yeah.
CSBA directly, and we
That
cannot
is
change the
good-
references.
Good reminder. Yeah, those.
We-
are-
Okay,
we
so
don't
then-
have access
You're kind of
to
messing with
change
a
the
legal
references.
document at that
Yeah.
point.
So
Yeah.
then can we just link it in up here? Where we reference this, just link whichever one is the most.
Well, it probably is referenced. Where does it talk about the uniform complaint with the number?
In this big paragraph. Right there.
Yeah, it does reference on page 164, the final red section, complaints related to sufficiency of textbooks or instructional materials.
So sometimes we do a comma and we do two policies. So it could say this policy, comma, policy with the same number, AR dash, where we're just naming that the administrative regulation. What
And
about-
linking to it. Can we link to it?
So,
I don't think we can, I don't think
No.
we can put
Okay.
links
Yeah.
into a board policy.
Okay.
That's not,
Do you have a PDF writer?
Well, no,
No.
she can.
Oh, I see.
Just-
Okay.
Allow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's our policy.
but it's through CSBA.
Oh, they don't know everything anyway, so it's like, they're just sending us policies, it's like, okay, this is what it should be. I really don't agree with those guys a whole lot. I mean, I do with some of them, but I mean, I don't, well, anyways, I get into that. I know what you're saying, but this is our policy and I think we could put a link in there to reference it.
I don't think the system will let us add a link. It's through their system.
Oh, so you don't get the PDF, you can't do a JavaScript or, script,
No,
okay.
it's through their system.
Oh,
We do it directly
okay.
through their system.
Okay, well, I've taken us down a long enough rabbit hole.
You make sense because some of these policies are just like way out there. So let's go through each policy and it's like.
Here's my last
Let's not.
point on it.
No,
24 minutes on this.
I go through these
pretty
policies.
good.
I'm like, what are they saying?
Robert's not timing it.
I know, huh?
I just want to honor Ariel's, what I heard is your main, like, you don't want somebody who feels wronged and wants to file a complaint to be confused by the process.
Yeah.
And I don't think that typical person, if there is such a thing in that situation, is going to go particularly to this policy and go through the references. And that's why, I think this is the good part. I hope this makes you feel better. That's why there was a requirement for districts not too long ago to have a very simple button or something on the homepage, not hidden away somewhere, that you go, I want to file a UCP, there's the button, and you'll see it in a big circle button that our webmasters have put on for that reason, that your voice is not limited by a overly complicated procedure. So that itch has been scratched for the main type of person who's just going to want to file a complaint.
Okay, that's helpful. I think because I'm looking at this document.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, if this
got-
is my source
Yeah.
for what to do, I'm confused. But
That's
that-
not how most people would
not how most people-
realistically enter into that. Yeah.
I mean, good point.
Yeah, because I do agree with you with that too. I mean, like right now, you have to go on our website. There is no simple button. I mean, you have to go look through each of the things and then you finally hit parents,
Right.
why it's under parent,
Yeah,
and
no.
not something
No.
else. And then you have to scroll all the way down to universal complaint.
No, there's a big button.
There is?
Yeah.
Right on the front page.
Oh, yeah, the uniform complaint. But that's when you go.
Like that's what we're required to do now, is to,
Yeah.
it can't be hidden 4 web pages and 8 tabs back. It has to be on the district homepage.
Right.
That was it.
You click on that and it
Here,
takes you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does it click? Yeah. All right. I will say though that we need to talk to George. The access link to the board policies is not, it's a 404.
I mean, on the homepage, we can raise that up
So
to the
that's the
top
board policy link,
instead of being like 6 or 7,
On-
4 or
on
5,
this
6
page?
down.
the homepage.
Because right now on the
Right here.
homepage, you know,
Because
it's not
I
obvious.
personally,
You have to
like
scroll
Ariel,
down.
would be looking these up.
Yeah, I did
But
scroll
that's
past it,
not a
but,
link.
but
I mean, we could put that up instead of bidder notice. The uniform complaint procedure, maybe raise that up to the top so it's really. Okay,
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't know that we should be
Yeah, we're off topic.
changing up the website right now.
Actually, our website's a lot easier than a lot of other
Yeah.
websites.
true.
It's
I
it's
agree.
there, you can see
Use
it.
them.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you
If
for
someone
taking
wants to
the
make a
time.
complaint, they'll find a way, so.
Yeah.
I get in the weeds. We can move on.
No, you make sense. I know, I know. Took a little while,
Alright.
but you made sense.
Yeah, it's, we want to hear the minority.
That's what we're here for. All right, let's get down to food.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
Yes,
it.
let's move on to food.
8E, discussion regarding this board policy on food service and child nutrition program.
Okay, so this board policy focuses on how adequate nourishing food is essential to student health and well-being. And development for the ability for the students to learn. So you'll see there's a couple red paragraphs that's been added, which focuses on adequate breakfast and lunches to be provided to all programs at no cost to students.
No
So-
questions.
Yeah, no questions, no cost, which is great. So-
Yeah, this, I love it. I think it's about time this happened.
Yeah, and you'll see if you scroll down the strike through number 5, how they crossed out students must meet the federal eligibility criteria to receive no cost. So that is no longer a factor anymore because it's universal meals. And then a little bit further down, then there's another red edition regarding farm to school projects and so forth, getting students involved, and we do have programs and so forth like that. So that's pretty much the gist of it. And then there's a couple other.
And this is a policy that's catching up with our practice. This is already.
Yeah. Are they, now, can they get a breakfast and lunch or just one or the other?
Breakfast and lunch.
So it is okay, because I see some or in there. And so I mean, the very first each day, it has and, which, so that's good.
Mhm.
And then down, I mean, adequate breakfast or lunch is one that qualifies reimbursement. So I don't know if that matters, if there's an and or there.
It's a good question too, because I don't understand what's the part about we can charge for an entree.
Yeah.
Okay, which paragraph?
This is more in the status. I was trying to find it in the policy, but
What page you on, Kelly?
167. Which part 3, that additionally, policy update reflect, which clarifies that districts may sell a nutritiously
yeah.
adequate meal that qualifies for the federal reimbursement
mean
to a
seconds?
student after the free meal is provided.
Oh, so
So
after,
like-
if they wanted another meal, then we could charge them for a second meal. So
But
they
you
have-
don't have to.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it usually generally doesn't happen, but in the case, like, we could charge for a second if they have 2 lunches, for instance. But the first one will always be. And breakfast will always be.
Okay, so sorry, our kids getting less food.
No, they're not getting less. food.
Okay, okay, I just wanted to.
Well, you know how once in a while.
But if they
some
want more food,
if they
we
want
can charge
more.
Okay,
Yes, yeah.
isn't that how it was? Like if you wanted a cookie or you wanted other things, you had to pay for it, but we'd feed you like from the there was a lot of choices? Or are we changing something?
Well, no, we're not changing anything. New Brighton did
Yeah.
have their, I guess, their snack shack
Yeah,
type
yeah.
thing where they could buy like
Extra.
little things
Right.
there. They no longer have that there. So it's just free meal, breakfast and lunch that is provided to all students for free. So there is really no charging. And then there's also like, they have the share tables too, where if students don't want something, other students can also come and just grab something off the share table to get
cool.
additional
That's great. That's great.
There was one thing on page 168 that the first paragraph in red. The first sentence in shall be made available programs period at no cost. I think maybe the word programs and the period is, let's see, out of place.
available programs. Oh, I see, because there's no.
Yeah, it's a funny space.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it shall be made available at no cost?
Available at no cost. Yeah, it should. It sounds like it.
The word programs and period.
Yeah.
Removed. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, we'll correct that. And then also look into the or, because that's an interesting one in that same paragraph.
Does she
Yeah.
do reimbursable separate by lunch and breakfast, or does she do it by day?
She does by day. Yeah.
I think it's just saying that either one of those or both qualifies, right? Because some students do take one or the other. It's
Yeah.
not saying they're limited. It's saying that either one of those qualifies for
Yeah,
reimbursement.
I agree. I think it's just defining what a nutritionally adequate
Oh.
breakfast and a nutritionally adequate lunch is. I don't think it's saying that they get one or the other.
Yeah, because if, as long as it qualifies under the nutritional standards,
Oh, okay.
then we qualify for the reimbursement, which we're within the guidelines and so forth.
Well, that makes sense, because I was looking, okay, you want seconds, they're gonna hit you up for some money then. Yeah. That's not the case. Okay, but you can. It's basically what it says.
All right, so are we good on that one?
Good on that.
Yeah?
That's right.
All
Yeah.
right, nice. Thank you so much for that. Discussion regarding 3550 food service child nutrition program.
Okay, so this one is going into the operations and cafeteria fund. So it talks about meal sales and so forth. Again, it talks about no costs, including students enrolled in independent studies. Kind of repeats a little bit from what we talked about in the last board policy. Let's see, there's some strikeouts about student enrolled in free and reduced meal programs or receive free meals at no charge. They took that out because it's basically talking about qualifying and delinquent payments. Let's see. And then if you go down a little bit further on 176, there's option 1 and option 2 that's been added. However, our program is all paid out of the CNS program. So that's the structure that we have for wages and benefits and so forth for CNS.
Is option 2 for the cafeteria fund goes to, okay.
Yeah,
So you don't touch the general fund?
No. So
So we're option.
we're option 2.
So when we publish it, option 1 won't show in this board policy.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I thought, oh, we don't have enough money here, let's grab it out. I see, but I thought it's like, okay, today we're gonna have option 1, tomorrow. I see now, okay.
Yeah. And then let's see. Then there is another couple big paragraphs that were added. Priority is important for serving freshly prepared meals on site, which we do. A lot of the food is minimally processed. Amanda is so great about making sure that all the nutritional guidelines are met, and she's trying to incorporate more scratch cooking in the kitchen, which is awesome. And she's always looking for great ideas, great recipes, and she's been starting to offer the samples to the kids too of fresh fruits and vegetables that are kind of different than what they would normally try.
Great. Any questions or comments from the board?
Nope.
No? All right, thanks for that. 8E oops, sorry. 8F food service operations and cafeteria fund. I think that's.
We
just did that. I'm sorry. 8G free and reduced price meals.
Yeah, so these are all intertwined.
I know, yeah.
So this is just saying that students will be provided meals at no cost. And it says we could sell an additional entree. It qualifies for the meal, federal meal reimbursement, same service. But it's basically the same information, just repeated in a slightly different way. Is there anything else that's standing out? They did cross off, the participating in the special milk program. She'll provide milk at no charge to students, however.
Yeah.
However,
it's old.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, okay, interesting. All right.
Question now, a student wants a free meal, can afford a meal. How do they go about asking for this meal without other people hearing maybe?
Oh, everyone
They
gets
get it
their
automatically.
meals. It's automatic.
It's universal now.
There's no
Everybody.
questions asked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what's great about.
I didn't catch that part. I thought it was just like, hey, I don't have money, I'm hungry. All right, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, you don't even have to do that.
I missed that part, but that's even better, okay.
You just go up
For
to the
board
window.
members too, huh?
Where do you think I show up for lunch? Just out of curiosity, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. No.
If a student is out sick,
Uh-huh.
would the parent say a stay-at-home mom or dad, could they come to school and get the lunch for their kid who is out sick that day?
That's a great question. I've never heard of that happen.
It was independent studies.
No, not, and I know, but
No,
not
I know
in
what you're
study.
saying. Yeah.
Specifically talking about if for a kid who doesn't go to school that day, could a parent who's maybe needs the help, however?
I'll have to look into that one.
Yeah, that's a good question.
That is a great question.
That'd be a neat service to be able to.
Because I know
happen.
the way they tally the lunches is they just basically tally the lunches. They're not really looking at names when kids come and get lunches anymore. So.
Maybe we box something up for our kids or something.
Yeah, that's a great question.
All right.
And if we're doing that, could we sell them to homeless shelters or, you know, I don't know,
think
is
we
it a
can do-
revenue making opportunity?
I don't think we can do that.
Okay.
Great idea. I like your thinking out of the box.
All right, thanks, everybody. We already got H8, so moving on, sorry, 8H. I'm tired.
Been a lot.
I know. 8I, education for English learners.
Thank you. So this board policy 6174 is education for English learners, and it is quite large. They have included a lot of new laws based on this on those laws. This policy has had a significant impact. So the first law is the implementation plan of the EL roadmap policy has to be embedded into our policy. There is an additional policy that reflects another new law that clarifies the term newcomer student. And then the next law that is included in this is that long-term English learners are now a numerically significant subgroup, where it was just English learners before, but now it's long-term English learners. And then it includes the description of what a long-term English learner is, and that's someone who has been in the system for 7 years and not become proficient in English. So the last law really just is the exempted nature of TK students in taking the English language proficiency assessment test because of the developmental appropriateness, lack of appropriateness of that one. And that's something that's just currently being discussed. But it is we do not test TK students. So this policy, you'll see a lot of red in this policy. And I really actually like the additions that this policy has made. Because even in just the first paragraph, it doesn't talk about just that they develop proficiency, but that they maximize high levels of attainment of proficiency. That the students have advanced multilingual capabilities, and that's because we're really supporting students in their home language and their learned language, which in this case is English in our district. English learners are also provided like developmentally appropriate instruction, and they can't miss any content. So they have to have math, they have to have reading, they have to have all of those things, and they have to have support in their language attainment at the same time. And I don't think that this policy, just kind of to give you a brief, it doesn't change anything that we currently have. But then I have to say that from the onset. The one thing that is of note in this is that a full course load of courses is specified above, and really in a elementary setting, if you're gonna have your typical school day. What it means in the middle school setting is like we can't take you out of science class to put you in an English learner support class. We have to make that an additional class available to you.
That's hard.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's just, we don't do that currently. We don't take kids out of a content area, but there are districts who have in the past done that. And so the child wouldn't have that exposure to that content. So just really important additions there. Staff and staff qualifications and training, there's like no additions, but there's a deletion. And that is that the superintendent or designee may provide an adult literacy training program that leads to English fluency for parents, guardians, and community members. I absolutely do not know why that was taken out, except that it's embedded in the EL roadmap because the community relationships is a big part of that. So it made a bit a matter of redundancy. The identification and assessment piece, all of that stuff stays very similar, except for transitional kindergarten. That's where that piece comes up. That shift has happened, and then the other biggest piece is the reclassification and redesignation. And as you can see, this like whole, all of these paragraphs, and that's basically because what was happening for some time is students were reclassified and not successful following the reclassifications. They've made it very much more prescriptive. It used to be every district could kind of choose its own criteria, and you still can choose your own criteria, but it also has to include some state criteria, very specific state criteria. So I think that part is really important. And there were a lot of districts that were just really not doing it. So again, it doesn't change our process, but I do think it makes it clearer what our obligation is. And so when we reclassify students, we know that they're proficient in English and we know that they're proficient in content. And so that's why it doesn't really change what we do here. The last addition that I'll make on this one, and it is, like I said, quite long. The superintendent or designee shall monitor students for at least 4 years following their reclassification to ensure that they continue to be successful. That's always been part of a law that we kind of track those students. The way that a school district that it has a feeder like district, they will be the responsible party for tracking like any academic progress that the student has made until they leave us. But it's their obligation. Let's say a student was reclassified here in 3rd grade, and so they're with us 4th grade, well, no, that's not a good choice. Let's say they're in 5th grade, they get reclassified. They're with us in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. We track them during that time. When they go to 9th grade, they still have to be tracked. So that all of that progress has to be known. And so if the student was performing better when they were in 5th grade or 6th grade than when they are in 9th grade, then the 9th grade is responsible for changing the trajectory or intervening. So that's just a nuance that I think is important to note. But lots of really good changes to the policy, but not a lot of changes to our current practice.
Great. Questions or comments?
No, my one question was gonna be, is there anything that we're not doing that we have to do? And sounds like no.
No, we're pretty tight and turn on a dime on this kind of stuff, and we have had to change some of our processes. But we typically, like I said, can turn them around really good.
Great. Thank you so much for that. All right, moving on to our one action item.
I'll make a motion to approve the date and time of the.
I'll second that for about 30 or 40 minutes. Right, stole my thunder.
Okay, you can have it.
Yeah, it's just a law that we have to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're gonna do it in December, no matter
Yeah, well,
what.
we have a meeting anyways.
We have to declare it, yes.
All right.
Start making your posters for being president in the boardroom.
All right, I guess, is there any discussion around those dates?
Who
would like to
We have a
move?
first and a second, I think.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay, so a
I
first,
first, yeah.
second, wait, it's not a roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
There's 14 public comment on, I'm just.
Have we ever had 14?
I know. One of them says we should wear Santa
A
hats.
whole year.
Well, there's been a line of people before.
All right, correspondence, we have future agenda items. And a motion of adjournment. Who'd like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
A second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hey, Scott, can we do something else besides the flag? Every time I come in here and I look at that and it says 2022, I feel like it's just
Oh, okay.
dated. I don't know.
I know, you know what?